So happy New Year to everyone, first and foremost. Secondly, I'd like to welcome everybody to the end times. Yesterday here, it was 68 degrees at its highest.
Yes.
Today, it's snowing.
It's in Maryland.
And it's 30 degrees.
That's what we do in Maryland.
So this could be for a number of reasons. This could be because we're in Maryland. Choice A. This could be because of some sort of climate change, people making policies. They're fighting the good fight. There's a little 16-year-old Swedish girl. She's got something to say too. Some shit like that, right?
Sure.
Could be because of that. Choice B. Choice C is that neither one of you wish me a happy birthday. Could be that. Could be God's vengeance upon both of you.
We did that on your birthday party.
Oh my God. I can't get you happy birthdays.
I didn't know we had to have a specific day.
You don't have to. You don't have to. But just maybe God's vengeance. Maybe God's vengeance.
That's fine. I'll take it.
And choice 4 is something that I have done. I have done something, and therefore it has ruined it.
That's probably what it is. That's probably what it is.
How was your New Year's?
It was fine.
Yeah.
I missed it because I was double sleeving magic cards.
You shouldn't say that out loud.
I get laid, man. It's fine.
There's a double entendre there. Because it could be the actual sleeves of the cards. It could also be the sleeve of the wizard.
That's what it is. He's double sleeving wizard cards.
So I like that. I like that. What about you, Chris?
Brian Brink came over.
No
Double
shit.
sleeving would be like putting a condom on your fucking foreskin without pulling it back.
See, I don't even know the logistics of that.
Well, you could pull your foreskin back. That's a good new one.
That's a good one.
New sound.
I got another one. Also, I'll try to say it. I got a couple of new ones in there. I'm trying to switch it up once a month. That's my plan.
There you go.
And then keep the old faithfuls, of course.
Of course.
So, Brian, it's Brink's birthday today.
Brink's birthday today.
So happy birthday, Brink.
Yeah, he came over for a couple days, and we actually put him to work in the basement.
Did you
of
really?
Course, yeah. I told him I was
because he's family, right?
So what was he base coating?
No, he wasn't paying anything. We were opening figures and cleaning and all sorts of stuff downstairs.
It's like Olive Garden.
How's it looking?
It looks great.
Yeah?
It looks great. We got the showcases clean, the detox clean.
Nice.
Almost all the mythic stuff up, and then a lot of the hot toys open and put up.
Wow.
Yeah, it's looking good down there.
Oh, love to hear it. Love to hear it. I had to do when you get it sorted. We had to do a cribs update.
Oh yeah,
and when you get that.
Speaking of that, Magic Case emailed me. I didn't have to email them. They said like my shit is going on the crates and it's going on the boat in January. Oh, well, we're in January now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you'll get it in June.
Yeah, probably.
June.
Yeah.
On a boat or on a plane, it's coming to America.
You know, that business model to me is crazy.
I mean, it doesn't hurt them apparently.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I think they're actually expanding.
Yeah.
It seems like they've been
Well,
expanding.
I mean, they were building a new.
They have more employees. I know that because I'm talking to more people now.
In some place in the States, it looks like a warehouse or something.
I don't know.
Makes sense though.
Yeah.
How's the shipping
It's the custom aspect of it. I'm sure is what drags everything
and
down.
price?
Yeah.
Oh, the customer is dragging it down.
The speed of
the
delivery.
speed.
Yeah.
Probably.
Not the
Well, it
quality.
depends. If we have more employees because it was just Brian doing all the custom. Like you give him the measurements, he's doing all the shit himself. So he has more people doing the CADs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, one of the things I'll just skip ahead a little bit. One of the things I did for my Nerd Week was I
I saw. I like the step look.
Well, so that's always been there, to be fair, but that's probably not how it's going to remain. But I just don't want to start adjusting shit until the pieces are in there. And
It's like one hole.
I only want to adjust it one more time.
Fair enough.
But I did get the lights back on. I've realized what the problem was. For those that are listening, I had an issue with two of the lights in particular. I asked Joe to start brainstorming to fix it. So Laura and I got a hair up our ass over this past week and started doing a bunch of home projects. We got to the Magic Case. I don't know if also you noticed I took down all the 3 3/4 shit that was on top of the Magic Case and I replaced it with the
statues,
with the bombshells.
Yeah.
That was good. That.
Yeah, it's better. It's much better. It was junky. It was junky like it was standing in line for a tester at 4 a.m. But at any rate,
That's fair.
You would know.
Fair.
Apparently,
I was sorting it out, and I realized that one of the lights, the wire to it was actually a little too taut. So it was
I was yanking on it.
just a taste, enough to kind of like over time pull until it finally, the weight of it failed.
Yeah.
Because like also putting on the rails, where there's a whole like don't have good contact.
Yeah. That's the tricky part, right? Is that like, you know, I have some like I can tell, you know, like it's like, and I've done it too. I'm guilty of it too. I could tell when I ordered that. I was like, look, all my lights down here are whatever they call this, like warm lights. So I want Majicase lights to be warm lights. I want it all to match. And I could tell he didn't want to do it, that he wanted to do cool lights. So he found some like it's like, I don't know, warm with the taste of coolness. It's like lukewarm lights. And
it's like when you go to Heckinger's Home Depot, and the box says white light, and it's not fucking white, because it's not daylight.
Yeah,
it's like that.
I did that.
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember. I was screaming. I was listening at the time. I was screaming at the fucking radio. I'm like,
fiasco. But anyway, I could tell he didn't want the warm lights in there. So they're not warm. They're cool-ish, but it's fine. It still looks good. So anyway, I got that sort of. It's just something I did. Nice. I want to real quick before we get into a whole bunch of joke bullshit. I lost 2 friends over the past 2 weeks on the same fucking day.
Same day, Jesus.
Yeah, both to cancer. And one of them's name is just this dude Justin. I grew up with him. Haven't hung out with him in a while, but you know, he's been here to Halloween parties and stuff, and very, very cool dude. And like one of those dudes is like a genuine listener. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you were to say like, if you were to give him like shoot him a picture of your diorama and be like, what do you think? He would write you back like an essay about like everything that he likes, some things that he was critical of, some things that he thinks that you could do better. Like he took all of it very seriously. Like, you know, it's just one thing I always appreciated about him. Like anytime I asked for feedback, it was just like whether it was music, whether it was art, whether it was whatever, like it would be pages and pages and pages of like feedback, but like I benefited from it, you know? And to be honest, like even like the pleasantries of it was like warmer because it was like, it was detailed and it was like, fuck, he noticed these little nuances that, you know, whatever. So rest in peace to him. The other guy I lost is this guy, Cat, who was like, I was closer to him. You know, he's a mopper. We work together. You know, just a funny fucking guy. I want to tell a couple of stories about him just because he was so fucking funny. What I like now, I'm kind of like, fuck, I need to start getting more people on this fucking pod, like just to like document them, like in a way, like just because like I'm like
you always have the voice in this story.
Yeah, and this dude was so fucking funny, and like the fact that like the world can't enjoy how goddamn funny this dude was is like, so he was supposed to do a favor for me at work, and he fucked it up. And as a result, it fucked me up, and it fucked up a dentist appointment I had for my kid. Like it was a whole domino effect of things. Shortly after that, he got injured, and he had to go on some sort of modified situation where he was pushing papers or whatever. He wasn't actually taking the stick to the floor, if you know what I mean. And while he was there, I didn't see him. So we had this little awkward situation happen, and then I didn't see him for like 3 to 6 months. And then he comes back to regular, and I see him, and it's awkward because I got a beef with this, not a beef, but you know, I got something I want to address with this dude. And as he's walking up, he just says, "Hey man, how much does a polar bear weigh?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Enough to break the ice. How you been?" And nice. I just forgot all of it. I just let it all go. The last thing that he said to me, I went and saw him at his house. He was on his porch. And I said, you know, all this. We talked a little bit, and then as I leave, I hugged him, and I was like, "I love you." And he's like, "Love you too." And he's like, "When you get back, take a shower because this shit is super contagious." Is this cancer that he had, which was like just his way, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, went to his funeral, all super emotional moment and funeral, and very, very, very produced. It got me thinking a little bit, not to start the new year off on a whole bunch of death, but like,
come on now.
If I were to think about the blessing of that, which there is none, right? It's tragic, and he was short lived. He was 40 some years old. Like, oof. But if I were to think about the blessing of it, if I was try to find the silver lining in it, right? He had about a year to get all of his shit in order. Like to where this funeral of his was like mapped out like a performance. Like he had it exactly the way that he wanted it from beginning to end. And it was like an event. So there is like something to that. And I hate to say there's something good about it, but there's something about it. When we went, I went with the family just because of my proximity to the dude, for lack of a better term. I went to the like, you know, the funeral home at the end, like, because he was being cremated, went to the crematorium. And his mother was like, "Hey, I'd like for you to say a word." And I was like, "Okay." And I said, "Plethora." And she said, "Thanks, that means a lot."
Oh, fuck me.
Anyway, he would have appreciated it. Rest in peace, Kat. Rest in peace, Justin. So with that out of the way, all the death out of the way, Chris, you got
rest in peace, Betty White too.
Oh yeah. Almost made it, didn't she? 99.
Almost made it.
So, and she's
almost made it to 100. Almost made it to 2022.
Let me tell this story real quick. So I had some United Airlines miles that were expiring. It wasn't enough to get anywhere, but you can spend them on other things. So my wife decides to get magazine subscriptions.
What year is this?
I know, right? Bless her heart. I don't even know. There's People Magazine. There's Entertainment Weekly, which I do thumb through that one. Martha Stewart, something or another. I don't know. There's like a whiskey connoisseur and a cigar. So I'll flip through those. Well, here comes Betty White's turning 100. I'm like, oh, that's cool. like the next day. And it was on New Year's Eve, right? When she passed? Is that when
something
the news
like
broke?
that? Right before 2022.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Last victim.
Yeah.
I got a collector's edition, I guess. The air
I wonder if
do
you think do you think it's gone? Like, I mean, obviously it went to press. Do you think that they tried to
I don't know how that works.
Because like the whole article was about
recall
how do you live so long and shit, right?
I guarantee you if they were
just terrible time.
the ones that were at newsstand probably got, I'm sure people bought them up immediately. So
Yeah.
I doubt there was much to recall.
Anyway, so Chris, you got your coffee first. Joe, how was your nerd weeks?
This is too much shit. I'm gonna have to like not do all of this.
Okay.
Do you end up watching Star Wars anime 7?
I have not yet. I have made some progress in some of the things I said I was going to watch, but I have not.
Yeah,
I've not
I actually went up watch a lot of shit. I watch all of the Star Wars anime. I like it in general. There are definitely stronger ones than other. Like episode 7 and 8 are my favorite.
Were they one story or two separate
stories?
Okay.
They're all individual stories.
That's what I thought. I was just clarifying because the way you said it made me think that maybe perhaps it was one story.
Yeah, it just happened to be those are my favorite ones.
Did you see what I meant with that animation with the pencil-esque look
Yes.
of that? Yeah, something different, right?
Yep. I do enjoy that. It was episode 1, and I like that story too a little bit.
Yeah, it was fine.
Jurassic World.
That's the most newest one, or is that one of
Second one, Jurassic World.
That's the first one with Chris
I
Pratt,
watched
right?
both of them.
Okay,
Jurassic World 1 and 2.
love them.
Not the second one. The first one, great. The second one was
The second one's with the monster that they auction off or whatever.
yes.
Yeah, that's really bad.
It's not good. There's like some of the fight scenes are cool. Of course, it's fucking dinosaurs fighting.
The first
But
one,
like the whole fucking idea of most things are dumb. All the characters are fucking dumb. All the decisions are dumb on all sides.
the first one is they get off the island and like the island's like crumbling into a volcano or something. The first,
Yep.
and you see like the brachias.
Yeah, that was sad
That's
as
a
fuck.
moment, right?
That
Like
fucked me up.
that's a
That fucked
moment.
me up. That fucked me up, bro.
I don't like either one of those movies, but that is a moment because that's like the first one you see
Yeah.
when you get to the park, and then fuck, dude.
Yeah, that was powerful, but it didn't. Not good. The people look just like Transformers movie, this dinosaurs movie, and Godzilla movies. The people fucking ruin it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it's good enough an action adventure if you enjoyed it, that kind of thing. And the end is dumb. Like the very end is fucking stupid. It's
been a while.
I'm assuming it's setting up for. Well, okay, so at the end, like they have a bunch of they're auctioning the dinosaurs.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, I guess.
No.
So like they have a bunch of these captive dinosaurs on mainland civilization. And like due to the building collapsing, they're about to like they're gonna die, right? And they have nowhere to go. You can't transport them. So like one of the main lady was like, we should free him, but then decided not to. Be like, that's a bad decision. And then this like other person like frees him, and they're like, oh, good job. I'm like, no, that's awful. Do you see all the dinosaurs running off into LA? That's a terrible idea. Stupid ending,
Dude, off to Tinseltown. You know what I mean? Big stars in their eyes.
Oh, watch all the
Tits and toes.
What ifs? Loved them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You watched all of them?
all of them.
Nice.
One sitting. I watched things in one sitting.
Yeah.
And I would love to an ongoing series in that style. They don't have to be linked. It's kind of cool they were all linked in the end, somewhat.
Yeah.
Like they were individual stories. They were only linked because characters were pulled from those specific worlds.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think, I'll tell you, like, I enjoyed a few of those for sure, and I don't think I hated any of them. But the fact that I can't remember them, I feel like says something. Like, I know there's a Doctor Strange.
Yeah, where hubris got him.
Yeah.
And also, like, a lot of the shit I've been watching has that theme at the end. It's like, how much would you give to save the person you want?
Yeah.
Or would you like the right choice of the things you sacrifice the person you love to save the world, but oftentimes with a mentality of we'll sacrifice the world for the one person we love, which is questionably bad.
Yes, questionably bad, I think.
Yeah, it's a morally gray area.
Yeah.
But no, I enjoyed it. I just didn't like that the Infinity Stones worked in other universes.
I don't even remember.
Well, like not Vision, Ultron got the Vision body.
Yes, which I thought was cool.
Amazing. And becomes uber powerful. Destroyed the universe. Got the stones.
I did like that.
Makes sense.
Yes.
And then he broke through into other universes. But as far as I knew, lore-wise, every universe has its own Infinity Stones, and they only work there. So the fact that
I don't even remember. I don't know why in my head.
It's just a lore thing for me.
But I don't know why in my head, if I had like gun to my head, I had to make a decision. My guess would have been that the only like Infinity Stones are only exist in one universe.
Oh, one prime. No, that's why in Loki there were so many, and they were just fucking.
Oh, that's right.
Because once they're out of the universe,
You're right.
And also like an old ass. I don't know if this is actually exists or it's just in my head. I remember there was a DC Marvel crossover. And when like Thanos or somebody with Infinity Stones went to the DC universe, they were powerless because the stones didn't work there.
Huh? Yeah, I don't recall. I remember Batman beat Hulk.
Well, of course he did,
because he came. I don't get me lying as to what it was, but he had some sort of shit that was like, it was like a capsule that reversed his transformation. I believe.
Is it a suppository?
I believe like it was like an inhalant, and it reverses his transformation back to Banner.
Aerosolized fucking Xanax.
And he threw it on the ground, and Hulk was like, "Hulk smarter, Hulk hold breath," and like held his breath, and Batman kicked the shit out of his stomach and made Hulk go. Turned back into Banner.
Nice.
If memory serves, they're fucking awful. Like all those fucking crossover books are so bad.
Fun to look.
Yeah, agreed.
We watched a Very Boy Band Christmas.
A boy band Christmas?
A Very Boy Band Christmas.
I've never
on
heard
Disney
of it.
Plus.
I believe that.
But it's got like a couple members of Boys to Men.
No shit.
New Kids on one member of New Kids on the Block. Bobby Brown and the other guy from New Edition.
New Edition, that's a big one.
So like they were singing Christmas songs, and they have a story. It was corny, but like I enjoyed it. And Sync was there. They talked about Backstreet Boy not being there. No Backstreet Boy showed up.
Really?
Even some of the 98 Degrees and O-Town, a member or two showed up. Wow. And then they called over the phone to some people who didn't make it.
Anybody from Jackson 5?
No. I'm not sure if they're considered boy bands, and B, I'm not sure if they would be down for that.
Just like Jermaine. Have you seen Jermaine Jackson? He looks like he's claymation at this point.
Dang it, Bobby.
I love it. I love King of the Hill. But Boys to Men keep saying, like, I don't know why we're here because we're not boy bands. And they're like, yeah. But the part I enjoyed, which was too short, was all of them sat around a couch.
Wait, Too Short was there?
Dude,
that would be great.
They sat around and talked about like what it was like. like or being on a tour bus and
Yeah,
how they
yeah,
live.
yeah.
But it was like 3 minutes. And back to the singing bullshit. I'm like, I would watch these motherfuckers talk about
that
this
for hours.
yes.
Yeah.
Because they all had very different experience and shit.
Yeah.
Boys Man's like, yeah, we didn't have hotel rooms or multiple. We had one fucking bus. And I'm like, oh shit.
Wow.
And Too Short came on one time. They got wild.
They are. Those are some singing. Like I hate to say this, you can always tell how talented the vocalists are by how ugly they are.
Really?
Yeah, because if they're ugly, you know what I mean? You're like, these guys could probably sing their fucking asses off. And a lot of those Boys and Men dudes were a little rough on the eyes. But
Not according to the ladies at the time.
well, yeah, but that's
Because
a
they
whole different ball game. But like
they'll make love to you.
like you want them to. They're also
tonight.
and they're on bended knee,
Yes.
you know, and
At the end of the road, though.
they are at the end of the road. That road did start in
Motown, Philly. Yeah, that's where it started.
Oh man, it's hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Look,
That's some good fucking songs, bro.
no doubt. But that's where I was getting ready to go. Is that I think vocally as an R&B group, it's arguably the strongest male vocal R&B group.
I can't name you another one.
But they're
Well,
also
other than New Edition, I guess.
but they're also, you know, some of them are a little, you know, wild looking. You know what I mean? Like that little skinny dude, and you know what I mean? Like there's some wild looking Boys and Men members.
What's that one that Ricky Martin came from?
Menudo. It's still going
I don't
on.
even
Is it-
remember that.
Well, Menudo is a I guess a boy band in
It's
in
like
Mexico.
Power Rangers, right? It just
Yeah,
keeps switching
but
in and out.
Like you age out of it though.
I think it's a Mortal Kombat villain too. I think.
probably.
I thought it was a dish in my country, my noodles.
Menudo.
Chris is not having our shit today.
but yeah, I think they're fucking like they can sing their
They're
asses
good.
off, boys.
They're fucking great. And it was cool to see all those people like sing together and shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not into Christmas, but like that was cool.
Yeah. Some say Joe's heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Doubtful.
3 times 0 is 0.
That's right.
I watched an Indian movie, a wild ass
Like
Indian
a Bollywood
movie.
Indian
Yes.
movie? Okay.
On Netflix called Suryavanshi.
Suryavanshi.
Because we were scrolling through movies and like the music came on and this ridiculous trailer, I guess, came on and we watched it. It was fucking hilarious in the worst way. It was like back in the 90s when you have like Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah.
Or Will Ferrell movies, but like apparently there's a 4th installment of the franchise, and I would like maybe go back and watch them. And I was real mad at first. So we watched dub because I'm not a sub guy,
Right.
and they gave them. I was like, why did they give them such fucking heavy Indian accents? Right? I get it if you want them to make them sound authentic, like Indian people speaking English.
Yeah.
But they had heavy fucking. I had a hard time. Yeah, I talk about accents. I have a hard time understanding.
Yeah.
But come to find out, it's because they voiced over themselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great.
There was so like
Wow.
there was all the cast voiced over themselves in
That's
English.
great.
So like you actually get their voice.
Good.
So it's like okay, I respect that.
Yeah.
That I'm good. Because you know sometimes you watch fucking some shit with some Asian dude in it.
Yeah.
And he's speaking Asian, and you have some fucker dubbing over it with some Asian ass accent. I'm like, come on, man.
It's the same thing like the
Just
Scarface.
give him. If you're gonna dub it, just give it regular ass.
You know, like the overdub for the edited version of Scarface is all like a super white dude, like you know, like you know, where he's-
Over the cuss words.
yeah, over the cuss words, you know, and he's like, oh, you know, fucking, you know, all that kind of shit, and then you had like the white dude over top of it. Sounds crazy. I'm not gonna do it, but
Are you sure?
These motherfuckers.
how I'm gonna get
Mother truckers.
how I'm gonna get a scar like this eating pineapple?
Well, you do have to match, right?
Yeah.
Fucking. Well, we'll talk about Matrix later, I assume.
Or now. I mean, we're now.
I'll get to that. I've gotten to murder mysteries because remember, like, Knives Out was great, right? Ryan Johnson.
Yes.
And then I ended up watching Looper, which was fucking a movie I
Looper's
never
great.
watched. It's
Yeah.
fucking great.
It's great.
Yeah.
With Joseph Gordon-Levitt, 3 fucking names.
Yeah, I
And they
haven't
made,
seen it
made
in
him up to
forever.
look like a
Bruce
young Bruce Willis.
Willis?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's some good
They
shit,
gave him the
man.
nose. It's a fucking
Yeah, it's
good
good.
time
That's a
travel
good
movie.
movie.
There's plot holes in it if you look into the time traveling aspect, as with most time travel
Yeah,
movies. But I don't care.
there's
The
nothing
story
perfect,
yeah.
is fucking. And then, yeah, so Ryan Johnson is. I want to look for more movies.
The dude's a good fucking filmmaker, man.
I mean, I liked episode 8. So.
I do too. And I like Knives Out, and I like Looper, and I don't know if I don't like one of his movies. Like I'd have to look.
What all his
Yeah, me
movies
neither. But I'd have to look.
But then I got into I got recommended murder mysteries, which we like, and watched a couple of Agatha Christie. I know that name. I know that author.
Yeah, I know that name too.
It's an old ass.
Murder on the Orient Express. Is
That's what I watched. It's just Murder on the Orient. Great acting, great fucking story.
A modern version of it. I know it's been made several times.
In 2012. No, 2000. Sometime in the late 2000s. Like within the last 5-10 years.
There was some
a second one is coming out like this year. A sequel is coming out this year.
There was some train murder mystery movie that happened recently. Wasn't there with Johnny Depp?
That is Murder on the Orient.
Okay. Yeah.
You should watch it.
Yeah, I want to.
It's a good story. If you don't know the story anyway, because murder mystery you can only really watch once, unless it's one of those things you watch it back again for all the tells. It's like, oh, now I know what this means.
Yeah, no, I want to.
That is really good. I like the main guy, the main detective in it. All the actors are good. The big name like Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah. No, I remember it's like an all-star cast.
Yep.
I want to say it was like just a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was one of the 5-10 years. Michelle Pfeiffer is great, but I watched another movie with Michelle Pfeiffer in Dark Shadows with Johnny Depp. Where he's a vampire. It's a comedy. It's goofy as fuck, but I think she's phenomenal.
See that.
And she's aging fucking well.
She's amazing. She's amazing.
And in the murder mystery, I watched this.
Baltimore. Where? You remember that from Scarface?
Oh,
where are you from? Baltimore. Where? They used to put it on like Hot 97. I mean, not Hot 97. Fucking a 98 Rock.
Yes.
It was like one of the radio stations here. It was like the tagline to before music would start and stuff.
Gotcha.
And Crooked House. Like murder mystery, like Knives Out. Agatha Christie, and another phenomenal. I enjoyed it a lot. Another a great ending that I didn't see coming until towards the end. It's like, oh, kind of thing. I try not to guess, but there's the natural thing you do when you watch mysteries that you try to fucking guess what the fucking thing is.
Yeah.
And then of course you guess 20,000 things. So when the one thing came, I was like, yeah, I gets that.
That's how it goes.
Right?
Yeah. Or sometimes I'll purpose, if it's a good one, I'll be like, all right, it's going to be, I think this person could have done it. I think this person could have done it. I think this person could have done it. But that person, there's no fucking way. So it was probably him.
Yes. Yes. Started watching some movies, Marvel movies chronologically that Krista doesn't remember or didn't watch. So we watched Captain America. Fucking great.
The first one?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I mean,
I like parts of it an awful lot. Especially the first act, in boot camp and all that shit. Love all that shit.
I like the end too.
The third act for me is when it starts falling apart a little, just because it starts reminding me a little of Spaceballs.
But Hydra is like Spaceballs. I know. AIM and fucking all those guys. Well, those minion guys.
Bane wears a Spanish Mexican fucking wrestling mask, but you can take a couple Liberty Justices. You know what I mean? Switch some shit around, make it a little cooler. It was just I halfway expected those troopers in that fucking hallway, because the hallway even has Spaceball vibes. I ain't found shit. What I mean? It just but I love
the characters, the main characters.
Yeah, and the way that they do him and all that, when he jumps on the grenade and all that shit, that's all fucking right on.
And the effects are great.
Yeah.
Of him being a fucking scrawny dude.
Yeah.
That's some of the best CGI I think.
Yeah, because you can just put people's faces on blanks.
Shut up, Joe.
That's all I'm gonna put her next time.
And the movie after that, which I haven't seen either, and we watched, is Captain Marvel. I liked it a lot. I remember people talking a lot of shit about it. I can see some of the flaws about it, but I enjoyed it. It made me care about her character more, and I'd like to see a young Coulson and Samuel L. Jackson relationship.
Yeah,
I think
and how she'll really start it.
I started calling it Big Chicken. I didn't think it was anywhere as bad as what people were saying.
Yeah, people were shitting on it,
but I didn't think it was anywhere as good as Marvel's good.
No, but it's. I mean, for just movie going experience, is a solid B.
It was a C to me, but it was an edible plate. To me, it was just I can consume this. I know it's in the 90s. I can tell by your 9 Inch Nails t-shirt. Thank you. Yeah.
And all the 90s music, which of course I enjoy. I'm not going to not enjoy it. I'm not going to be like, oh,
I don't know. I think I prefer, regardless, like, I think I prefer a score. I don't need the heavy-handed, like, I knew it was in the 90s. Like, I could tell by the blockbuster, you know, like, I don't, not that element was a big detractor for me, but I do feel like I like to have more of a score with these superhero movies, especially like these ones that you can really connect to, which I don't feel like Marvel has many of, to be honest. Like, I think that Avengers theme, that's definitely in the pocket. The Captain America theme is there. But a lot of the other ones, like, I feel like if I were to ask like a random Joe to be like, hum the such and such, you know.
No.
Yeah.
No idea.
Because they're just not, they didn't stick.
And did I say I watched Hawkeye?
Did you?
Yeah, I watched all of Hawkeye.
So I watched 2 episodes.
As far as you got?
That's as far as I got.
We'll talk about when you finish.
I'll tell you.
I finished it.
I'll tell you so far. I hope to finish it by next week. But I'll tell you so far, I don't hate it. I think I'm only 2 episodes in, but I think the tracksuit gang is stupid.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. I mean, you read the comic book.
Yeah.
Bro.
But I don't.
Start saying bro after every sentence, Bobby. It'll make
Bro,
you understand
I always
it,
say bro.
But I think
I've been doing that for years.
I think that like it's a different type of stupid in the show. It's stupid in a slapsticky way that I don't necessarily appreciate. But I did like the first episode. And I thought the second episode was okay. So far,
I liked everything with that has to do with Hawkeye in it.
I enjoyed it though.
Yeah.
I mean,
you didn't like it at first.
I didn't like the first 2 episodes. It drugged me. I was like, oh, this needs to pick up.
Yeah.
And then by the third episode, I think is where it really takes off.
I don't like the main character as a problem.
You don't like
Kate Bishop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk. That's why I said I wanted you to finish watching it to tell you.
It's only like 5 episodes, right?
Six. To tell me what you think about the character arc. Goddamn, for no reason today, I got a package. I'm like, why didn't I order shit that's that big? It was big and heavy box. I'm like, I ordered magic cards. They come in little envelopes. And I was like, to my Facebook name, I'm like, who the fuck is using my Facebook name, Joe KW, to send me shit?
Yeah.
It turns out it was fucking goddamn Raul. Send me like 5 collector's edition volumes of manga I love. I actually, Raul, I don't even know how you know I'm a Junji Ito fan. Like, I don't think I talked about it on here, really.
It's a generous dude, man.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It is too much.
It's unnecessary. I've never done shit for you.
Well, no, did you hear him when he said here how much he appreciated what you do for him? Yeah. I mean, you gotta take the good with the bad. You gotta take the good with the bad.
When I get gifts, I feel like it's a punishment. But thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. It's much too generous. Please don't get me anything.
I left you. Did he get what I left him?
The stickers?
You got them?
I fucking love them.
Great.
I already have one on my workshop, work table.
Yeah.
That's different. That's like knickknacks. It's not the same as
knickknacks.
like
Not collectible.
not like $50 books, multiple of them.
Yeah.
But thank you. Like,
yeah, he got me a couple books too. I mean, I appreciate him. Like I told him one time, I was like, look, if you decide to stop doing this, you're well within your rights to stop doing this. Don't feel like obligated to do this. But I do want you to feel obligated to give me a list of shit I should buy because he's got some pretty good recommendations.
Yeah.
So if you're going to stop buying me books, please send me a list of shit I should buy every year. Because a lot of times, like, I'm like, man, I've never heard of this, and like, it's like that Deceased series that's over there. I think it's a Showtime show now. It's about possession and so forth. Comic book series like Non-Tights and Flights. It's fucking amazing. But like, he put that in my wheelhouse. I had never heard of it, you know. And there was a Mr. Miracle book that he gave me last year. Fucking amazing. Like, same thing.
The Ito book he got me, I don't have. I haven't read it. Like, I was vaguely aware of it. Junji Ito is a famous horror manga artist and writer. This book he wrote like a horror. Like, he wrote his everyday life with his cats as a horror story. How cats are fucking monsters,
Right.
Which is fucking right down my alley because I love cats. So I'm looking forward to actually reading it.
Yeah.
I don't understand, Raul, how you know these things.
I think he has a psychological personality test that he like plugs different things into, and then it gives him a list of recommendations for graphic novels to give to somebody. But anyway, continue.
And that's it. Oh, I didn't briefly talk about I watched the Witcher series. No,
The second one?
Yeah, second season. I watched all of that, binged it in one day. It was great. And I just want to mention, want to mention, like, I like that people shit on it because not like the books, but there's two things that people complain about. I personally complain about. They addressed and fixed in the show, which is like one of the bad guys' army's armor in the first season looked like ball sack. Like literally, it looked like ball skin, like wearing
sexy,
right? And this iteration is like, oh no, that's just like the traveling armor or some shit. Because everybody else is like nice, fucking solid, black, beautiful armor. And I always complain about the medallion from the game is great. I wish they used it. So like in this, there's a scene with like all the old medallions of all the Witchers, and then one of them was that medallion. I'm like, okay, I'm good with this.
Yeah, good.
Like that satisfies me.
Yeah, I feel like
at least they're listening.
The scuttlebutt to the second season was lukewarm.
Yeah,
but I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. Looking forward to more. And there's a bunch of shit I wrote down about bitching about people, but I don't need to do that.
What kind of bitching?
Just human. I mean, I've been working a lot, dealing with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. I have a lack of humanity sometimes. So like, I was driving to work. I was way early because I always am because I don't want to be late. Because if I'm in traffic or accident, I become on time instead of early.
Right.
And I'm hardly ever late. Maybe once a year. So like there was this accident that happened like not that far ahead of me. One car flipped over, and then people start stopping. I'm like, "Why are you stopping? We got places to be. I gotta go to work."
Right.
And then like cars stop. People come out and they were like trying to get the guy out from the flipped car. And I'm like, first of all, you motherfuckers, you don't goddamn yank on some guy's leg who just might have a neck injury. You guys know anything. I know you're trying to help. The car's not on fire. He's fine. Leave him there.
Right.
First of all. And second of all, I was like, get the fuck out of my way. I gotta go to work. So like I'm like judging myself, but like I'm indifferent about it. I just know it's not a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
It happens.
I mean, I think that it's hard sometimes to separate your issues from other, you know what I mean? Like I think
it's callous of me, right?
Yeah, well, yes and no, but like there's self-preservation, right? Like for me, my job it used to take promptness pretty seriously. It used to be like a fireable offense.
Yeah.
So I take it very seriously. On top of that, my father's job took it even more seriously.
Yeah, I took time very seriously.
So he like instilled it in me, like being on top. Like if I had the time back that I've spent in a movie theater waiting for the movie to start, I'd have a whole free year, bro.
Well, I'll tell you, assigned seating has been a relief of anxiety to me.
Agreed.
You know, because there's no reason to get there 45 minutes early. You can literally just stroll in while they're playing the previews and have a seat.
But I think there's like, you know, to think about any obstacle that's in your way. I'll give you a perfect example. It happened to me recently. Okay, I'm recording a sit down Saturday. I have my tripod set up. I'm sitting in my seat. I'm talking.
Cords are arranged perfectly.
Cords are arranged.
Tools and drinks and cups are scattered to the wind, but in a perfect order that only you understand.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And Laura starts making a whole bunch of racket upstairs with food stuff, and I'm like, fuck, now? But she's making. Then I was like, then I had to like, yeah, she's making a dessert for me, and I'm down here bitching. You know what I mean? But same thing.
Yeah.
You know, but I think the key to that, in my opinion, in regards to one's own humanity, is being able. I don't think there's anything wrong with having that initial knee-jerk reaction. I think what makes us better than that is that we can also say, oh yeah, but there's also this thing going on, and it doesn't become.
I think the problem with me is that it doesn't.
Well, it did. You mentioned it. You're like, you know, this.
I should feel bad, but I don't.
No. Not that you felt bad, but that you acknowledge that there is this situation. Like you were able to go outside yourself because then you said, and then on top of that, I also want to get to work.
Yeah.
But like. I think that's the key of what makes people not fucking sociopaths. Do you know what I mean?
The people that stop are the good people. I mean, everyone has somewhere to go, right? We're on the highway. We're going somewhere. People stop to like go and try and help. You know?
Yeah, but there's an overkill to that shit too, right?
Oh, like if there's already like 30 people there, you don't need to stop.
I was reading some journal,
or if you have no idea what the fuck you're doing, you know.
Like yanking on a guy's leg who's trapped in their car.
I was reading something recently. It was like an article, and it was talking about the amount of people that don't have cell phones that are of legal age to drive, right? And it was like it was like not even a whole human. It was like
I know one because my coworker is one of those.
but it was like point.
Yeah, he had no cell phone, no email.
That's
How does
crazy.
he survive in the world?
Watch TV.
But like even like doctor's appointments and stuff, don't you have to?
He calls on us. He's a landline.
Wow.
But it was like
He's not home. I
How
can't
old is
reach him. Like he just turned 60. He's not old in that sense.
I mean,
He's
is there a reason
able-bodied.
why?
His brain is old.
Okay, that's fair.
He's like, I don't understand this newfangled technology. I never had a cell phone before. I don't need one now. Okay,
But it was like 0.04% of the human
very
population.
personal.
They're 16 and older that is, and then they were saying how therefore they were talking about emergency dispatchers,
Right.
And they were saying how the smallest fender bender will generate like 20 calls to 911 that these dispatchers have to juggle. When the truth is that, you know, in 90% or 80% of the situations, the people that are actually involved in the incident are perfectly capable of calling 911 if they need it, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But because there's so many do-gooders, you know, so many heroes at work out there on the streets doing their good part, you know, to let the world know of the emergency.
When was the last time you guys called 911?
never.
You've never called 911?
I've called them once
call
in my
police.
life. Well, that's 911.
No.
Oh, you call like
Specifically,
non-emergency.
I need a police officer, but this is not an emergency. Let me
you
look
call
up
it
the number for
non-emergency
not
nine.
exactly.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's
Because that's what people should do.
yeah,
most
agreed,
of the time.
Agreed. I called one time. I was driving down Route 1 in my and I was coming back. I can't even remember where I was coming back from. I think I was coming back from the city, and this guy was going like 1,000,000 miles per hour and like weaving in traffic in the northbound lane, through traffic in the southbound lane.
no.
He's back through. I mean, like I've never seen, up on the curb, up on the side of the road, up on the grass, back onto the street, and never lost control. Well, you know what I mean? He went up off the road, but he never like spiraled out, like
Never hit nobody.
never hit anything
never fished
during the
tailed.
part that I saw. And I just called 911 because I felt concerned for the fucking livelihood of everyone on the street at that point. But
It's like taking time bomb.
that's the only time I think that I've ever called 911.
Wow.
I called him once when I was in high school by accident.
Accident.
I had a phone, and it had it was a landline phone, and it was one that came with like 911 pre-programmed into it.
Emergency
and,
button.
and I hit the button by accident. They're like, 911, what's your emergency? And I was like, sorry, didn't mean it. And they're like, no problem. See ya.
I saw something funny about there's a sequel, or I don't know if there's a new Scream movie coming out this month. And
With David Arquette.
I was reading some list of facts about the original, and Drew Barrymore was shown as a star of the first one, and spoiler, she dies in the first scene.
Yeah, it's great.
But she's dialing 911 on the phone, and it was a live line. She called 911 like 3 times.
Oh,
And then they
Did she
call
not
back. Well, because she didn't know.
Right.
Nobody
So it was a prop.
Nobody had
Right.
disconnected the phone line, so she was, turning the phone on, and then and I was looking like, wow, I had that phone. That seems so long ago.
Yeah.
It is a long time ago.
Yeah,
Long time ago.
I think the last time I remember calling them was I saw a wreck happen. It was a van that flipped. It was on a very rural road in Alabama, and we went down there. It was the road like down the hill from where we live. We heard the skirt and saw this dude was just hammered, and like a bottle of Thunderbird rolled out of the van.
Yeah.
but I called 911 for that.
Yeah. And that, I mean, and to me, like, so after I've read this article, in my mind, like if I see like a fender bender or something, like I'm never going to call 911.
I mean, it doesn't need 911 anyway, a fender bender.
Yeah. And
Like
I mean,
a serious accident.
but I mean, it's got to be pretty serious
Right.
for me to call. It had to be like, I'm not sure if everybody made it.
Right.
You know.
Shit's on fire, fish upside down. fucking-
yeah. Otherwise, like my assumption is just that either the people involved have a phone and are capable of, or the other 50 people that have drove past, every single one of them have done their good deed for the day, and they can go home feeling good about themselves while they've overwhelmed the fucking emergency dispatch. But anyway, so yeah, no, I think that even questioning it is a sign of health. Honestly, What about you, Chris?
Watch The Expanse. Fucking great.
Love it.
Only
Love to
2
hear
more episodes left till the series is over on Netflix. Or not, I'm sorry.
Have you
Amazon,
read
at
the
least.
books caught up too?
No, I have not. I have a hard time reading.
Because I know one of my
books at this point.
Twitch friends like have issues with The Expanse because it's not like the books, and I tell her like, bro,
It's never going to be.
read the book separately from watching the show.
Yeah,
Don't compare them.
It's two separate streams there. I'll say that the episode that came out, not this past episode, the one before, so it should have been episode 3, I think, of season 6. There is one of the best tactical space fights, ship fights I've ever seen in my life. It is amazing. Like, I think even just seeing a clip of it, not out of context, you'd be like, "Whoa, that was fucking great!"
Right.
So,
I mean, The Expanse I always had great space.
oh man. So just to cheat a little bit, Bobby, who is the Martian Marine,
Yes.
is on the Rocinante now.
I would assume she was going to end up there at some point.
Yeah. So she's bringing her Martian Marine processes to them fighting.
I mean, it's a
ships.
Martian fucking ship.
Exactly, and it is. Yeah, the Rocinante was the Tashi, which was a Martian.
Sounds like
freighter.
Japanese, but yeah, Martian.
Yeah, sure. Tomato,
take it.
tomato. I finished watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It was the series finale.
Yeah, right.
I think I'd mentioned
With
before.
a more serious tone, right?
And we talked about
It
how
had a little bit more. Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about how police interactions, and it kind of unpeels that a little bit, and you know, it's always hard when you see a show that's a beloved show that comes to an end, and you know what's happening to these characters, but they pretty much explained where everybody goes and what happens to everybody.
Prologue.
Some of them leave the and they do
epilogue.
They do that. They do like a year later. Here we are. These people are in different positions, different roles. And they ended up creating a police oversight committee, basically. And 2 of them went on to become leadership in that. So it was just an interesting take on everything that's happened in the world, really. And I can understand how it was very hard to make a cop show after, the events of George Floyd's death. But they wrapped it up pretty well.
Is live PD still a thing after all
Nope. That went off the air the week after the George Floyd.
I would have thought that was okay just because it is literally shit being filmed on.
It seemed to me
action,
it
right?
seemed to me that show humanized law enforcement a little bit. Is that I don't know. If
Because you
that's the way
talked to them a
put
little bit in the car, right? I never watched live PD. I watch cops, but like you hear the cops talk about their beat and what they do.
But on Live PD, you got to know. I mean, they went back to the same people over and over, so you got to know these police officers. So like, oh, they're gonna be in Oklahoma City this week. That's where Officer so and so is. But it's all all gone now.
It's always good when a show ends when you want more.
Yeah, that is true.
and a good prologue or epilogue is not easy to do.
No,
Like it's hard, and like it makes me think. I don't know if you guys ever watched. I know you haven't, but 6 Feet Under.
I'm aware of it. I've never watched it.
It probably has the best epilogue I've ever seen. Like it's just that show, for those that know, like the opening sequence was always a random story. Okay. So it was like it never had anything to do. Well, never and always, right? But usually didn't have anything to do with the main cast of characters. It would just be like some guy delivering paint and a piano falls on his head, and then he ends up in the morgue, and that's how the show started. Shows always started with a random death, and then that random death ties into the story somehow. So, because the basis of the story was about this family that owned a funeral home,
Right.
So at the end of when it concludes, they go through everybody in the show, like to like a montage, basically to like music of how everybody in the show dies.
Oh wow.
Like,
that's powerful.
Yeah.
It's like, it was like fucking wow. Like it's probably like that. Like there's very few. Breaking Bad, maybe. Like there's very few that left me completely satisfied.
You're not Sopranos, you mean?
You know the problems with that one. Like, and I don't think it was as bad as some people did, but it wasn't as nearly as good as it should have been.
I mean, epilogue is I think it's tough to handle sometimes because sometimes it would feel like pandering, right? Yes. Happily ever after kind of thing.
Yes.
Oh, they went off to do this great thing, and they and also people don't necessarily want to see bad. Oh, this guy ended up down the fucking drain.
Yeah,
you don't want to see that either.
Yeah,
Bobby gave me a Christmas gift that probably was more of a gift than you realize, because he gave me and I didn't know this existed, but the good folks at Hallmark do a great job with their branding and their licenses. But he got me a Michael Scott ornament from The Office that says about 12 phrases. Did you know that?
I did not. But I'm surprised it's only 12 with 18 seasons of dialogue to work through.
It may be more than that. It seems like every time I pressed it. So The Office was on Marathon this couple weeks, and I literally watched it. You know, if it's on, I'll normally put it on. It was actually, there was a marathon on 2 different channels yesterday, but I saw the ending, which they do an epilogue. It's a year later, you know, and they come back. Have you guys ever seen the end of that show?
I have. I just don't recall it.
Well, they bring everybody back for Dwight and Angela are getting married, and then they do like the panel for the show, because this was just on TBS. Or it was on PBS, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
They bring everybody back.
Yeah.
It kind of just puts everybody, you know, in a place where they are. And I was just, when you said epilogue, I'm like, that, I guess, kind of, you know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But it is kind of like you said, that old happily ever after trope.
Yeah.
Because everybody goes to do their own thing.
The British one ends with because when Michael Scott gets fired in the American one.
No,
also.
he leaves. He marries Holly,
right.
and they move to. But he's in the very last episode, next to last episode.
In the British one, David Brent, he gets fired.
Okay,
and that's how, like, I think the second season concludes pretty much, is with his firing. So the third season, it's not a season, it's just like a special.
Yeah.
And it comes back, and you find out that, like, in that time, he sued the company for firing him. Won.
Wrongful termination.
Got this fuck ton of money, spent it to, like, make a single, like a record. And the single is like a remake of some, like, awful song. It's like a great song, but it's an awful song. You know, like Hungry Eyes or something.
Okay.
It's like something like that. It's not Hungry Eyes, but it's something like that.
Right,
you know,
right.
and he's like trying to go on tour to push this thing, but it's like a complete fucking
God.
you know, it's a funny little closure to it, but yeah.
It's interesting you say that. There's a lot of podcasting about everything, but there's the guy who plays Kevin on The Office has a podcast about The Office, and
I've heard that.
yeah, and they were talking on there about, you know, why did Steve Carell leave when he did, and it was basically, I mean, part of it was almost just like a clerical error, because around that time is when Comcast bought NBC. And it kind of just got lost in the shuffle that his contract didn't get renewed. And they're like, well, okay.
Wow.
Because he said, I would have done 2 more seasons with everybody else.
Wow. That's
kinda-
unfortunate.
yeah.
It was. I mean, the show, I enjoyed the show after
And
he
no one went
left,
back
but it
to
wasn't the
fix it?
same.
Yeah,
It was
I
never
agree
the same.
with you. I agree with you. I enjoyed it as well, but it was never the same.
Yeah. Watched Hawkeye, finished watching Hawkeye. I enjoyed the ending, and I hopefully what they set up will lead to some Netflix characters being in more shows. I'll just say it like that. I saw The Matrix. Did you watch it, Bobby?
No, I'm not going to.
You're not going to watch it. Well, let's have the conversation.
I don't. He shouldn't.
So I watched the first. So let me just give a brief history of my involvement with The Matrix.
Okay.
I went and saw the first one in the theater. I walked out of it not enjoying it.
Okay.
This is 99.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna play this from a couple different angles.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I think if I'm siding with myself, I'm going to say I probably didn't like it because of how many influences to me were obvious from other pieces of work, right? The red pill, blue pill, it was like part Terminator, part Alice in Wonderland, there was like just the too many references were in my face where I wasn't focused on the movie, even though I think there is a unique aspect of the Matrix, like with your fake life charging the real life shit. Like I thought that was cool. But there's too many other things that took me out of it because it just seemed like it was ripping off something else. On top of that, it seemed action heavy without the substance for me. And thirdly, Keanu Reeves. He's just awful. And I like him as a person. I love him as a person. Every time he's on an interview, every time I hear about some courageous act, he's probably right now saving a house full of Filipino children from a flood somewhere. You know what I mean? Like he's just a beautiful person. But I hate his ability to act outside of Bill and Ted. The only one that I can fucking. And I feel like now I might have to take like a fucking Xanax or some shit before I watch it to like just, but like is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
It was extra bad in that one.
And I agree with you. I think because
he's had better work than that.
I agree with you. I think that because he's the caliber of other actors rose all the, you know what I mean? Like, because you have Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins and these fucking brilliant, like, masters of their craft, it only could bring it down so much, I think. That being said, if I'm on the other side where I'm being critical of my criticisms, there was another film that came out in '99 that everybody hated.
Equilibrium.
And I had to defend it.
I love Equilibrium. That's
Is that the one you're talking about?
No.
No?
I had to defend this film. And then this film came along and everybody
Episode 1?
And everybody seemed to love it. And now I felt like, okay, fuck you then too. I'm just saying, if I had to be critical of my criticisms, there was probably a bit of that going on as well. So yes, episode 1. Now, by the time we get to Matrix 2, I'm actually interested in it. Not because I've grown to like the first one, but because some of the character designs of the second one in the trailers have grabbed my attention. The guys with the dreads, like, I thought that they looked interesting to me. So I went into the second one kind of with an open mind. I walked out of the second one kind of thinking, well, that was more interesting to me than the first one. But everybody I knew tended to hate the second one.
I like it.
Then I went and saw the third one, and I thought it was okay. And everybody else seemed to kind of think it was okay. But I never fell in love with any of it.
So my experience was...
Usually people love the first one and then...
That's it. Like, I was obsessed with that film when it came out. The second one, I was like almost a little heartbroken with the direction it went. And the third one, I'm going to be honest, I probably went and saw it. Like, I think I just saw it when it came out on video. I've rewatched all three of them back to back in the past couple years, and I can enjoy it as a trilogy now.
Whole thing, yeah.
So this movie, I didn't have a lot of expectations going into it.
I expected it to be bad.
I guess I probably did too. It is very meta.
Which is interesting. That's interesting.
That is very interesting.
I kept thinking about it the whole time.
So, I mean, spoiler alert, 99, 98.
97.
And Bobby, I'm not worried about...
2 and 1.
I'm not worried about spoiling you here.
Yeah.
In this story, Neo is a video game designer who has designed a game called The Matrix. That is... The way it's described, the world has been obsessed with this game for the past 20 years. And there's a lot of pressure on him to make a sequel, and he doesn't want to make a sequel.
And also it caused him a lot of psychological issues.
Right. Because in the back of his head, all these ideas are coming from being in the Matrix. But it's kind of vague whether he realizes that or not.
At one point, he tries to walk off a building, so they see it as a suicide attempt. He was like, but I can fly. And he in this world, as a video game designer, try to walk off a building.
Right.
Yeah. Neil Patrick Harris, Doogie Howser is his therapist, and he's got a partner that he's in business with, and he's
a game designer. This other guy's like a corporate suit.
So he's the designer, and his partner is the business guy. It just kind of, I don't know. From there, it just... Joe, you want to pick up here? I think I've lost myself here.
Well, I mean, they go through his life, and it's very samesies, and he's like losing himself.
And is he taking the blue pill every day? He has a prescription for the blue pill?
It's a psych pill. It's like anyone else who's taking antipsychotics or anti-anxiety medicine, because he has issues dealing with real world, and he had this psychotic break, so he's going to see a therapist. And then now that he's being pressured by Warner Brothers in World, by Warner Brothers
in World,
to make a sequel
to the
all
Matrix.
These issues are coming back, and you see him go through life like everything, just taking a pill, fucking doing the same shit every fucking day, like passing him by.
And he knows, like, Trinity is Tiffany or something in this world, and he knows, like, he's obsessed with her, but he doesn't know why. But he doesn't know why, and he doesn't talk to her. She's
married with kids and goes to the same coffee shop as he does.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's then that kind of, they end up talking to each other, and it's almost like maybe that spirals something there.
Yeah, there's a connection there.
And then you end up back in the Matrix with
Like the real world.
right, the real world, people with
Because like
ports on
throughout
their
this,
necks
like
and
you're
stuff.
not sure, it's alluding you to whether it is him just being crazy or if there's actually a Matrix. But obviously there is a Matrix.
Right. Did you ever question if maybe the finale of this was that it was bullshit? Like that, like if like when you were watching it and he was going to Warner Brothers and all this, did you ever think to yourself, man, I wonder if this is the twist to all of it? Is that it
No.
is just okay.
I don't, but like I can see why he would think that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because everything works towards him.
But as a viewer, you never get that impression. You always get
Just because I'm as a viewer, I
Right,
already
right.
know what I'm in for, right?
Right,
Like
right,
this
right.
would be really hard to convince me there's no Matrix.
Gotcha. That to me would be almost kind of cool.
That would be. It's just a fucking crazy guy at the end. Crazy old video game
to
designer.
me, that's like that would be kind of cool. But go ahead.
And the lead, I guess, other than the classic cast, the lead actress is she played Colleen Wing in the Marvel. She was also in Game of Thrones. The girl that plays
I watch Game of Thrones.
I don't know how else to reference her.
What's her name?
She was in Iron Fist. The girl in Iron Fist that did the martial arts stuff.
Okay, I know you're talking about.
She's the lead person, I guess.
Of a new ship, of a different ship.
Yeah. And it's like 60 years in the future from the events of the last movie. So like Jada Pinkett Smith's in it.
old.
And she's old, made up. And, they've been waiting on a savior.
At any point was she entangled?
Yeah.
Very much
Yeah,
entangled.
some of those, the
tentacles.
tentacles came in.
That's meta.
No, it doesn't really.
Now we're meta. Entanglements. Entanglements and shit.
I mean, Joe, what did you think overall? I don't know what
There
the
was a
point
lot of
this
bad
movie
parts of
was.
it. There was no point. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like we didn't need it. It's for people who want a happy ending or closure to what happened to Neo.
Did you-
and
did
don't
you
want
think-
Trinity to die.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. I enjoy it because I'm a fan of the franchise, but when I go back to watch it, as I do like every year, I would leave it out.
Yeah.
I would watch it first.
Oh, really?
I love it. Yeah. It's the same thing with anyone who's familiar with Final Fantasy X. There's a Final Fantasy X-2, complete and necessary, and ruins the game for me because
The storytelling.
meaningful deaths are meaningful
For a reason.
for a reason. You bring those people back and you lost that.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
yeah.
And same with mystery. Some mysteries are better left as mysteries because they're more powerful. It's cool we know like origins of Wolverine, but like before we knew the origins of Wolverine, he was still cool.
Yeah.
And he was a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, Snoke was cooler before we knew.
Oh, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
He's a bathtub baby.
So like I
And he's probably like a version 122 of.
I mean
Yeah.
there's a rack of them in a tub.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed it enough.
Snoke litter.
I don't know that I'll ever watch that again, though.
Yeah,
I don't know that I need
Well, I
to
watched
ever
it
see
again because we streamed it on Discord.
So you watched it twice then.
Halfway paid attention to it.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
It was not necessary.
they're dragging the shit out of this movie. Like from a backseat watching it all. I don't think I've seen anything good about it, and I'm seeing it. It's maybe the first thing that I've seen because the Matrix does exist in this weird place where
yeah, it's in the computers.
yes, that's very true. Where like nerds are like super into it, right? Like people that are into geeky shit are super into it. But like the jocks and shit, like the bros are kind of super into it also because of the action movie element. And then like the rap world was super into it. Like the hip hop culture was super into it. Like people did mixtape covers as Neo and everything else. Like it's like one of these things that like
It was a phenomenon at the
It just
time.
it struck whatever it was, and it was appealing to everyone. So it's funny as I'm seeing like all of these people on my timeline from different walks of life.
Your boy Joe.
And everybody's fucking dragging this fucking
Yeah.
movie. Like if it's like
No one asked for it. Who asked for this?
yeah.
That was my question at the end. Is like, why?
Who decided that we needed another one?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy with how it. Well, taking the good of it, I guess. Is
In the bad.
in the bad, gully. It's at the end of the day, so to me, if you just want to watch it as something, watch it as a love story. Watch
There
this
you go.
love story between Neo and Trinity, and
Doogie
how
Howser.
and how they're connected, and how those things just can't keep you apart.
Yeah.
And if you watch it in that lens, I think you enjoy it more, because I do enjoy that aspect of their characters. Sometimes you watch a series where like people deserve better at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Kenshin. It's an anime about this good ass samurai guy who used to be an assassin. He has a reverse blade, so like the front of the sword is blunt, the back of it is sharp. So when he needs something sharp, he would cut with the back side. But when he fights, it's always a blunt end that beats the fuck out of people because he doesn't want to kill anymore. It's very good. Does a lot of good things. And
But
like,
couldn't you just have a regular samurai sword, just turn it the other way?
it doesn't work as well.
Oh goodness! All right,
And but at the end, he got like fucking cancer or some shit and died alone and fucking suffering. Like, why? I didn't need that. I didn't fucking need that in my life.
Right.
yeah. Let's see here. I watched an anime
Oh,
called Way of the House Husband.
It's comedy.
Yeah, Kelly suggested I watch
It's
it.
it's like
It was
Real
only like 8
Housewives.
episodes.
Real Housewives, but in Japanese man style.
Dude's like a yakuza that ends up trying to get away from it, so he wears an apron everywhere and cooks for his wife, who's I don't know. It was fine. It wasn't. I don't. What do you call that style? Because it's not animated.
No, it's not.
It's like. It would be like, Bobby, one of you, like your Megatron picture that you made. It would be like, we have that, and we're going to pan over to this Megatron, and then his lips are going to move, and then we're going to pan over to this Megatron.
It's
that was in comic. In
motion
comicsology,
comics.
yeah.
Motion
Yeah.
comics.
It was like a motion comic.
Yeah.
So
No, I think a better one would have been Backstreet Girls. I think that's more hilarious.
okay, well,
Well, it's Yakuza who fucked up and they're forced to have a sex change and operations to
yeah.
become a girl group.
okay.
So
I
they're
remember
this
you talking about that.
hot chicks who sings like Spice Girls, but they're like dudes on the inside. And they have to deal with it.
What a world.
It's fucking hilarious.
I mentioned that Brink came over and I
Deal
put
with
him.
it.
I put him to work. One of the things we did is we went through I found the good checklist of all the Simpsons figures.
Oh, nice.
Someone has published recently, and we went through and whittled down, and I actually have doubles I didn't realize I had. So
Of course, you have things in boxes.
yeah.
How many fucking jetpacks do you have?
Not only that, it's just the amount of Simpsons, but we've got it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 standard figures and play sets, and then there's 4 mailaways left, and then 2 play sets that I think maybe they like re-release some stuff at some point in time and rebox it. But do you want to guess? There's 2 items that are like expensive to get. You want to guess what one of those is?
Well, one of those is
one of them
Quickie Mart?
is
No, not the Quickie Mart.
the guy who they made a statue of him in.
Jebediah Springfield.
The Jebediah Springfield playset is going for $400.
Is it really?
Wow.
Dude,
deep
Dang
lore.
it, Bobby.
Yeah. Yeah, 400.
Wow.
It's going for like $400, and then there's one.
Does the head come off too?
I don't even know. There's a guy named Frank Grimes who was like an inspector that came to the nuclear plant one time. It's Frank Grimes in the nuclear plant lunchroom, and it's like $150. The rest of
Oh,
it,
that's not that expensive. You're talking about expensive.
But for a
$150.
little plastic cheesy.
I bought a card for $150 bucks last week.
well, dude, listen.
Okay, that's fair.
You know how my life is.
Fair point.
I bought a piece of cardboard, man. Come
But
on.
like there was the B Sharp set. They were all mailaways. I found them on eBay, all 4 of them, the $150 for 4 plus shipping. Taking offers, I hit them with a bill. They took it. So
Yeah.
I have those coming.
Nice. Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
that Jebediah Springfield one always makes me think. I used this slang term forever, like based off of that episode when the bullies were like picking on, or they were picking on Bart, and then Bart like got cool with them or whatever, and like they're laying around, they're looking at clouds in the sky, and they're all bullies and tough, right? So they're like, oh, look at that! It's like a gangbanger in a doing a drive by. And the next one's like, yeah, and that's like Mike Myers chopping somebody's arm off, and the other, and then it gets to Bart, and Bart's like, oh, look, that looks like Jebediah Springfield statue with his head cut off. And they're like, yeah, that'd be rad. Yeah. So then like Bart chops the fucking head off. And then the kids are all pissed because it's like fucking the guy who represents their town. And he's like, but you guys thought it'd be cool. And he's like, oh man, it's just cloud talk.
Yeah, just crowd talk.
And I used to say that shit all the time. Like, I'd be like, somebody come pick up something. They'd be like, here. I'd be like, oh man, I'm not even hungry. But you just said you wanted some chicken wings or whatever. I'd be like, oh, that was cloud talk.
It was cloud talk. Yeah, cloud talk. So I think my goal for 2022 is to finish that.
Nice.
You could do that like next week.
I could probably
You have
get on
the money
eBay
to.
right now and do it.
Yeah,
if I wanted to.
honestly.
I don't know. It's kind of fun, and people like, hey, I found these. I don't know if I mentioned it on here, but while I was on the cruise, Brian and Paul C worked together to determine that Brian had stumbled upon like 4 play sets that I didn't have.
Oh, really?
No, they were the Treehouse of Horror sets, is what it was. So
Nice.
Yeah, he brought those over for me. I got.
So you're gonna have a big like 40K table like Bobby had and have the Simpsons.
I'm not
I
gonna
told
do
him.
that.
I told him.
I don't have.
You have a whole
room to
town
do
in
it.
Springfield.
I want to do
It
it.
would be so fucking
It'd be
awesome.
fucking awesome.
I want to do something different for the display. I haven't quite figured.
Well, you
it
can do
out.
that. Stick all the figures to the table and put it on your roof so it'll be upside down.
Awesome.
No?
Awesome.
Come on.
And then they'll all fall on my head. I also got a.
You don't trust your own engineering?
No, I don't. I got a Raoul drop myself. So thanks
You did?
to Raoul.
Dude, Raoul, bro.
I've been
please.
reading one of the books he gave me.
Ballin'.
It's a series called Criminal. It's an Image Comics series. I've read, I think, about 3/4 of the
Is it
book.
great?
It's really good.
Because every Image book that he sent me has been fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally just about these fucking criminals and their activities and
It's so funny that like
It's like opposite of cops.
criminal shit.
the kind of book that the company that started out kind of being like the most kind of like soulless in a way has ended up becoming like the most meaningful comic book company out there.
Soulless?
Wasn't it a little bit like it was just like it was all like it was porn, right? It was all like pretty and fun to look at, but like void of any real substance.
That's a great analogy.
But then like all of a sudden it's like Saga and fucking Paper Girls and like all these fucking great books are coming out of
Yeah,
Image.
Invincible and
Yeah,
Because that, I mean, that's the indie way you want
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Like you can't
Yeah.
get those shit published on Marvel DC. Right?
Yeah, at the time anyway. You probably could now, but like it's just
It's still under their own house label though.
it's just a weird world we live in. You know what I mean? Where it's like
technically third party, right? Third party gives you
Yeah.
that kind of product.
yeah.
I got a couple video games for Christmas. Deathloop is one of the ones I got, which
Sounds like a vicious cycle.
It is. It's a Bethesda game.
Oh, shout out to Maryland.
Yeah, so it's
It's
that.
not gone down lately.
Well, it's a very stylized game, and
I'm not saying anything about it. Just the company itself
Yeah.
has became shitbaggy.
I haven't been able to really sink my teeth into it. I mean, I've played it several times, and it just, I don't know. I guess something needs to happen to get me super interested in it. The other game I got was Star Wars Fallen Jedi.
Oh yeah. I beat that one.
Did you? Yeah. So
One a year.
Mason got it for me.
I know
for
that
Christmas. It's the PS4 version, but it had a upgrade or whatever they call it for the PS5. Upscale. Yeah. So it's been a lot of fun.
That game is similar to another game. It's like people have said, like people that play games, like when I talk to them, I'm like, because I think that game's okay, but like they're like, oh man, it's great. It's just like this other well-known game, and I'm like, oh, is it? Is that what it's like?
Well, I'll tell you, my being a rookie in playing games, modern era as of last year, these games are all the same.
I had to put that fucking one on easy. I think that was the one I had.
I have it on easy.
It was too fucking challenging, man. Like the Dathomir, which is of course anywhere any Star Wars fan goes immediately, given the option, right?
Yeah, that's where I am right now.
It's like, yeah, because it's like you start off at the planet you ever started, and then it's like then you get into a ship and you can go to like one of 3 places. And it's like Dathomir, some place you never heard of, some other place you never heard of. It's like
Go see The Witches, bro.
Yeah, of course. And like as soon as I got there, like all like the Darth Maul zombies were like beating my ass. Like I was
the sisters and stuff.
It was making me so angry that I had to.
I keep getting like I put it down yesterday because I'm stuck. I literally cannot get out of this part of the map.
You guys sound so old right now.
I know. I can't figure out how to get back to the fucking ship. But I played that a lot.
Get your kid to help you, bro.
I
Charlie
know.
can probably help you.
Well, maybe. And I watched season 1 of Mandalorian. We put it on while we were working on stuff in the basement.
Good inspiration, I guess.
Yeah, it's good. As good as I remembered. And watched part of season 2, not all the way. And I watched the Book of Boba twice.
How was it?
So I watched the Book of Boba as well.
Okay.
What were your thoughts? Thoughts, comments, courtesies, concerns?
So I will say that I'm not going to judge it based on this first episode.
Okay.
Right.
I don't think that's
Just
fair.
judge an episode to itself.
Right.
I think this formula that they're laying out has legs to go for a long time. because just to tell you, Joe, and spoilers, 99, 98.
Yeah.
I think anybody who listens to this show has probably watched it by now.
I'm not.
being a holiday.
I'm gonna
weekend.
watch it, but I'm not too interested in it.
Well,
so I don't care if you spoil it.
The way it's set up, he's in a back to tank because I guess he's still fucked up from
From the Sarlacc.
from amongst other things. So he's having flashback memories of all this stuff, but that could go back for years. You know, he could have flashback memories forever.
If you care not to want more, but I guess a lot of people do.
Yeah, but I think that there's interesting stuff. There's probably more interesting stuff to tell of back then.
I'm interested when he was a kid and he was running around with that crew.
Well, one of the things that they show is him looking at his father's helmet, like that specific, and they show it from like his
POV.
Yeah, you know, and like that was like, man, like that stuff I'm kind of more interested in than like so.
That his bounty hunter being real cool
Yeah.
action guy. Yeah.
So I don't hate it. I didn't hate the first episode.
I'm surprised. I'm gonna be honest with you. I figured you would hate it.
So I didn't hate it.
I think he just likes to defy expectation. Every time we think he likes something, or every time we say he doesn't like something, we think who doesn't like something.
That's the twist of my story, Joe.
He knows exactly which way to go. That's opposite.
I didn't love it either. I thought it was fine. I think
Which is good enough.
Which is good enough.
You didn't feel like you wasted your time.
Correct.
Yeah.
The monster that he fights, it's like that's like a trope now that they like. It's always been a Star Wars trope, but I feel like now it's like
In your face.
it's just like, man, it's like they don't know what to do without it. You know what I mean? And it like, but I didn't care for that. The sand ninjas,
Sand ninjas?
I didn't care for that.
Like Gara?
Hang on, sand ninjas.
Yeah, like they had energy shields.
Oh, that one scene. Okay, when they're in Moss,
Didn't care for all that.
No, I was thinking about Naruto.
I think that I'm riding this wave. I'm just along for the ride at this point. I'm not committed to it. I'm not wowed by it. There were some parts where I watched and I was like had to take a couple deep breaths, but there was no part that I watched where my eyes were like rolling out of my head and onto the fucking ground and down the fucking hallway like they did in Mandalorian sometimes. But I think the part that bothered me, and this is my Star Wars luggage, right? I get it. Why was there a fucking stormtrooper in the Sarlacc stomach? Other than to just say, "Look, stormtroopers, guys, stormtroopers." Remember how much we like this little thing? And
I thought the Sarlacc pit is something they specifically go out into the desert to drop people into.
Well,
and there was
I get the impression that this takes place shortly after the events of Return of the Jedi on the barge. Right. So there's an awful lot of guys that fell in there.
No, I'm saying the Sarlacc pit itself in world, like people don't wander around there. It's just desert, right?
Yeah.
Well, my thought is
the only way to end up there is someone dropped you in there.
Just sand people or Tusken native Tatooiners,
but not.
And,
they probably know how to avoid
the Jawas,
them, motherfuckers.
because they
and
both
Jawas
come right by.
Right, but I assume they know how to avoid these motherfuckers.
Maybe sand dragons.
Crate dragons.
Crate dragons.
But not stormtroopers.
Not stormtroopers.
But think about it like this. Who's the gangster in charge of this planet?
Was at that specific moment no one,
right?
But just prior to that, Jabba,
right?
So did he drop stormtroopers in there?
So things aren't going the way he wants, and Stormtrooper pisses him off, and drop somebody in there to make a statement.
Why would there be a Stormtrooper there in the first place?
But there wasn't. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing.
Never saw any Stormtroopers.
We saw the Sarlacc's lunch. Mm-hmm. It was that one guy they've never made a figure for in 3 3/4.
Oh, bastards!
He has like a hat. He almost looks like Raiden a little bit, and he's got like the mask over top.
Yeah.
That guy went in. Boba went in. Oweekwe went in. And it's just like I was like, why is there a fucking stormtrooper? It just took me out of it. It just
Isn't Oweekwe a drill rapper?
He's from the Bronx. But that's the only part where I was just like. But the rest I didn't have any of those moments, the whole rest of the show.
Somebody's, I don't remember who sent it to me, but it was you guys know the game Dig Dug, where it's an old game from I remember playing like a Commodore 64 where you were a little guy and you had to dig. It's almost like
But
it was Boba Fett Dig Dug. He was digging out.
That always seemed like bizarre to me that he got out of the Sarlacc.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't like the way
very Deus Ex Machina kind of thing.
I didn't like the way he got out. Like I found it to be kind of like anticlimactic. Like he just He just like he lit some shit on fire inside, and then the next time you see him, he's just like I wanted him to come out of the fucking teeth, like the you know what I mean, like I wanted to have more of like a fuck you moment,
right?
Like,
it was like he dug his way out and he was covered in. Oh, that grossed me out.
Yeah,
it's the slimy sand. It's like if you go to the beach and there's like jellyfish remnants everywhere, and they're that's like it's like oh, it's so gross.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But yeah, I thought it was.
But it explains. Stuff. It explains. Did you watch Mandalorian season 2, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, so it explains how the Jawas got the armor and how it ended up where it. So it kind of puts things in order, so to speak.
Yeah.
I honestly was expecting one of the native Tatooiners
yes.
to speak English in some capacity. I thought that was what that one that keeps looking at him.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna be like, "What's up, bro?"
Like the tracksuit guy?
Yeah, like a tracksuit guy. Well, instead they just hand him a cup, a ball of water, or what? That was strange.
Yeah, that was strange.
They were digging up like rocks, but they had water in it.
And apparently that monster that he fought is some ode to some special effects guy. Did you see this? Like,
Stan Winston?
So
some special effects guy recently passed away.
It was Stan Winston then.
Was it?
Stan Winston recently passed away.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. Fuck me. I don't know why that didn't ring a bell, but it's like a combination of two of his monsters put together. The Kraken from Clash of the Titans and something else. It's like some tip of the hat, which is cool enough, but
yeah.
Did the way he got on match the way he got on the books? I remember him getting out in the books too.
That's not canon anymore. So
I know, but I'm wondering. That's why I'm wondering.
So I think I want to say and forgive me, and to the mighty nerds that listen, the nerd ragers, forgive me if I'm fucking this up, but in my memory, the jetpack, it had something to do with the jetpack. It wasn't digestible. It was fucking with the gut of the Sarlacc, and the Sarlacc threw him up.
Yeah.
if memory serves.
I think it had kind of been just put into the ether that's what everybody thought, that he would have to, but
and they're playing off the burp, like the moment that Boba goes down into the Sarlacc belched, like it was already having a problem.
Are we under the assumption that that's Beskar?
It's got to be.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it.
They've never talked about
Well,
it.
two things. Like, it would dissolve, you think, somewhat, or be real damage. And
it's slowly over 1,000 years.
Two, yes.
That's right.
Fucking stupid. You're fucking idiot, Jabba. Two, it like he is a legit suit with like ownership lineage. So like it seems to be a legit Mandalorian armor.
Yeah.
I mean, in the show, at least, it seemed to be Beskar.
Right.
I'm just painted.
I'm glad we're having Star Wars again. That's not the Bad Batch. That turned my stomach on Star Wars.
That was like a hiccup, but everything was good, and then the fucking Bad Batch dropped in.
I've never even watched it all.
Not good, but like everything was doing well.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't even know if that did poorly. I don't know. Nope. I know.
Well, see,
no one talk about it though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? No one
in our age bracket, but I don't know if kids and shit liked it. Like
Omega.
Yeah,
because like people in our age bracket do talk about Clone Wars.
Yeah, no, for sure,
it's the same
for sure. But I don't know if they were able to capture a new market with this Bad Batch shit. I just don't know. Maybe they couldn't. If I were a kid, I wouldn't want to watch it. But like,
we watched fucking He-Man and goddamn Thundercats. So
yeah. Episode 9 for me was my turning point, and I don't think I've liked.
After 8, I was fucking balls deep into Star Wars. I was fucking.
Me too.
And then 9 killed it for me, man.
Me too.
I mean, I still like it. I still consume Star Wars stuff.
I got you. So, and outside of Boba Fett, is there anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, let me breeze through mine real quick. Let's see. I've been continuing in Just Like That, which is the sequel to Sex and the City. It's fine. It's varying degrees of fine. I'll say that, like, one thing that I found irritating while watching it recently, I'm just this last episode, was that, like, there's kind of all this shit, right? Miranda, the character, is like a drinking problem, and she has kind of come to the terms of that she has a drinking problem. The other character, Charlotte, her daughter has now went from Rose to Rock and is transitioning, I think, to binary or non-binary. What I do think is interesting is the show is kind of tackling, and it's Warner Brothers. It's a very like usually all about that. You know what I mean? Painting one side of that picture. But they are tackling some of these things just concept-wise. Where like little things like Charlotte meets with the school like guidance counselor and principal and is like, well, yeah, it's just like Scout. Well, who's Scout? Well, Scout was Sam, and then before Sam was Sky, and then Sky was Stacy, and we kind of went from Stacy to Sky to Sam to Scout, inside of a year. So it's like it is saying like the shit that Laura and I have been talking about, like kind of like, are we the only ones that fucking feel this way? That like my kids, all of her friends are switching names like left and right. So like it may like I think it brings a little balance to the conversation of it anyway. So that part is interesting, but all this drama is going on with the character, more importantly, for the sake of this conversation, right? And then the Sarah Jessica Parker gets hip surgery. And then
I figured they just put her down.
You're really the glue that keeps this podcast together.
Yeah. And there's really no horsing around here, Bobby.
Oh, horseshit. So here, the last thing is that at the end of the episode, it says all the episodes are kind of ended the same way, and just like that, this happened, right? And it's like, and just like that, 3 months later, I was walking again, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's good.
Why the long face?
It's good. It's good. But I'm like, time out. First of all, that's not just like that. That's 3 months.
Yeah.
Secondly, what happened? Well, so what's going on with all these other characters in the drama? So I'm hoping that I don't feel a way about it next episode.
Go back and
but if we've just skipped ahead to
3 months,
yeah, I'm like, well, wait, I was just invested in these, so I don't want to panic yet. But I was kind of off put. But that was the very last thing that was on there. Curb is bringing it all together. This is the first. I can't say it's the first time, but it's certainly the time where it kind of really like there's like a huge overarching story to all of it that's really kind of tying together, and it's pretty good. And pretty good. So it all has to do with this dude trips over something and drowns in Larry's pool. But you're supposed to have a 5-foot fence around your pool, city ordinance. So the dude's brother is like, look, you're supposed to have the fence. Love my brother very much, but maybe I don't feel like suing you if you get my daughter, who's an aspiring actress, a role in your upcoming show. So he does, because he doesn't want to get sued. She's awful. Simultaneously, he seduces this old person that's like on the council to get her to vote to revoke the law on the fences for the pools, so that he can get that to go away and then fire these people that he's had, brought on. And like some of the shit is like the person on the council, her name, I don't know what her name is. It's Tracy Ullman.
Oh gosh.
And it's so fucking funny, like just how it's all kind of coming together. And I should have just trusted the situation, but like the dude Leon, he's like a famous comedian. Is a black dude that lives with Larry David in the show.
Oh, JB Smoove.
Yeah. He was like
Spider-Man's teacher.
Yeah. He was like they were talking about this book, Little Women. Are you familiar with this book? Yes. So it's written by the Marx sisters or something. There's like this. They're very like. It's like a feminist, like a very all that. So he's actually talking about them to Tracy Ullman's daughter, who's a big fan, and he's like, "Oh, they're just so talented, aren't they? And one's a writer, and one's an actor, and one kid. Is there any talent these girls don't have? I mean, one could be a writer." And then she was like, "What about with the other three be?" And he's like, "I don't know, housewives." Offends everybody, right? Of course. So anyway, he's talking about the book Little Women, and he was like, and I don't even hate Little Women. I like Little Women. And as soon as he says it, Leon comes in, and he's like, "Oh, I fucking love him, man. I fucking want to stack two on top of each other, like a whole woman."
Oh my god.
That's you.
But anyway, it's just pretty funny, man. It's coming together. I should have trusted them, but it's coming together. Yes, stack two of them top of each other, make a whole one, tap that ass. It's pretty good. Let's see. So, I put this in here as a debate thing, but I might keep that. I might come back to this another day because we're kind of had long nerd weeks for 2 weeks off, whatever, or 1 week off. Movie versus comic book movie, good and bad. Like I saw somebody recently say like, this movie is a good comic book movie, and I was wondering how much we do that as fans of this shit, that we lower or raise the standard depending on what we're watching. But we'll come back to that.
Yeah. We're talking about.
I almost fought the mailman.
Our mailman?
Yeah. But let me.
Not that because regular mail is a mail lady.
So she's the shit.
She is amazing.
She's
we
the
leave
shit.
her chocolates and stuff every year.
She deserves it. We do not,
She's
but she
great.
deserves it. And you know why we don't? Because I'm afraid it's going to be somebody else that comes by and gets her chocolates.
Like this motherfucker.
Like this motherfucker. So, interesting. They ran out of mail trucks. I don't know. I don't know.
What is the logistics of that?
I don't know.
There's fleets of those motherfuckers.
I know. But this... I happen to walk past my front window. I see a car parked in front of my house. A dude is putting on gloves. Like, not like medical gloves. Like, I'm a rob your house glove. And then putting on a mask. Like a ski mask.
In broad daylight, though.
In broad daylight. And I was like, what the fuck? So I threw the door open and I was like, hey. And the guy, he's like, whoa, let me explain. And he like pulled out his badge and he's like, I work for the United States Postal Service. He was like, we're out of trucks. They commissioned me to come in and like a bunch of us to like use our personal vehicles to deliver packages. And I just delivered a package to one of your neighbors and they threw a fit that I wasn't in a mask to talking to them because of Omicron. And he was like, so I'm just trying to make, and I was like, oh, sorry, but you can imagine my alerting system when I see a guy putting on a ski mask and gloves in front of my house in a fucking Taurus. You know?
Yeah. Do they even make those anymore?
They do not.
But like, I flipped the fuck out on this dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turned out to be nothing. So that was good. You watch some murder mystery movies. I did too, but mine's about real life murder. And I watched it on Netflix.
Documentary?
Yep. Called American Murderer.
On the nose?
Was he a proud American?
So they had a creative team working around the clock on this name. But this dude, I have spoilers, fuck it. This dude is older. It's an older documentary, I think. He killed his wife and kids. He basically...
When does this, what time period does this?
In the last... Well, Facebook is around.
Oh, wow. Okay. So within the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. So like his wife was like super active on Facebook. So there's like a lot of the documentary is shown with just...
Oh, I remember you telling me about it.
With just Facebook footage.
Wow.
Yeah. But basically he fell in love with another woman and was like, I'm going to restart with this lady. Killed his wife, killed his kids. Fucking... Like insane.
That's insane because you could definitely just go like hook up with somebody new and like,
or just
leave your family.
Yeah, get a divorce, dude.
Yeah,
yeah. Like
you can abandon your family. That's like, not the best thing to do, but that's socially acceptable.
He worked on like a oil field of sorts. I don't really understand it, but killed his kids and put them in oil vats, like to hide their bodies.
How did they find it?
They knew something was off.
When the fucking kids and wife is missing, you blame the fucking husband first. So immediately, right?
So eventually, the lies started breaking down, and the truth came out. But yeah, it was fucked up. It was.
He never did nothing crazy before.
No, just was like, dude.
He had one of those jump to conclusion mats from Office Space.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I think it's a metaphor, really, about maybe we shouldn't reboot everything.
That's fair.
Just kill the old thing and start over.
Maybe we shouldn't. One of the things that was funny in Curb Your Enthusiasm that came up is they tackle male hugging etiquette.
Of course,
because this dude gives like a tight embrace, and Larry's like, "Nah, you don't do that." as a man, you always poke your ass out a little bit so you don't have dick-to-dick contact. So that was pretty great. And then we watched some Christmas movies, obviously getting ready for Christmas.
Die Hard.
No, it's not a Christmas movie. It's an action movie that takes place during Christmas.
Tomatoes.
Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Batman Returns.
Definitely a Christmas movie.
But I've watched something else. Oh, and then I've been watching Tiger King season 2.
It's still on my list.
So it's not bad, and actually has some culty stuff going on in it.
Really?
Yeah. So the thing is it's not as zany as the first one.
Doesn't have as many sound. Well, there's not been any memes. I think we discussed. There's no memes for it. So
the only meme I saw recently of the Tiger King that I'm sure is old is they have Steve Irwin and Tiger King next to each other. He's like, he's the Wario of fucking Steve Irwin. I'm like, bro,
That's fair.
It is fucking bizarre with Steve Irwin.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But he is like, it's not as like lunatic. Like it's not as, like,
film footage of him in jail talking. Right?
Well, so far I'm not that deep into it. I'm only in this the second. Like I'm like at the end of the second episode, just about. And it mainly deals with. Like, so there was that bitch Carol Baskins.
My heart over.
Right. And then there was the Tiger King.
Husband.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then there was that dude that was like the guru that rode in on the elephant, the overweight dude.
The guy with the ponytail and the harem?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it mainly seems to focus around him.
Wasn't there like another guy who took over? Like was he the security guard or something that was hired?
Oh, the guy with the Oakley hat.
I don't. So
the
far
guy who bought the place from
Yeah.
Tiger King.
They're mainly dealing with this ponytail dude.
Okay.
And he used to be part of Yogaville, which is a fucking cult that used to be, I think, in Virginia.
It's in Virginia.
Yeah.
I heard somebody talk about that.
You would
the
never
other day.
guess he did yoga. Looking at him.
No. Heard something about. Where did I hear about that the other day? Somebody was saying they knew somebody that
Knew something about it?
that knew something about it.
But yeah, I'm finding it entertaining.
I mean, I planned to watch it, but now it's like getting bumped higher on my list.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, and then I did watch the Hawkeye, obviously, and I did watch the Book of Boba, and I want to say that is it. And we were gonna do we do this every year, a quick roundup of things that we know or can comment on in any regard. Best movie of the year for any of us. You got one, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually took notes for this.
I love it.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Okay,
I haven't seen it. I need to see it.
that's true. Yours, Joe?
I'm trying to think of what came out, bro.
That's the thing. Like
Because everything like runs together for me because I don't separate shit by year.
Shang-Chi? You were quite fine. A++.
I'm very, very happy with Shang-Chi. So that could be it because I can't think of anything else I was enthralled with.
Yeah, and mine is Snyder Cut. I think that was.
Does that count?
Didn't even cross my
Came
mind.
out in March.
No, I mean, because it's not a new. Well, I guess it's like a new movie because it's not completely different.
That didn't cross my mind, to be honest.
Well, list some movies of this year, the notable movies of this year.
Notable.
So you can't even fucking think of it.
Well, I can tell you what like comic book movies
Black
came out.
Widow.
Black Widow, Snyder Cut, Shang-Chi,
Eternals.
Eternals, which I still haven't
I haven't seen Eternals
haven't seen
either.
it.
Spider-Man.
I wonder why Eternals. Oh, I guess that was the first one to not. I guess that was the one that they were going to make a decision. Okay, fair enough.
I think it comes out like next week.
So do we only,
really?
On Disney,
do we only remember fucking comic book movies? Is that what it is now? Or is that the only thing that's notable?
So I don't think that I saw too much that like non-comic book movies that I was really enthralled with.
Yeah.
Like
so
shows to move the.
Well, hang on, stay on the movies because I want to run through what the top movies were for the year.
Oh yeah,
just to see.
yeah. Please do.
Yearly.
Because I watched this year, ironically, I watched a ton of shows. I was thinking about that, like that weren't related to tights and fights and that kind of bit.
Just for
Yeah.
Actually, hang on. Let me go 2021. All right. So here's your top movies. The top 4 are all comic book movies, and 5 of the top 6 are all comic book movies. Spider-Man, number 1. Shang-Chi, number 2. Venom, number 3. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, number 3.
Yeah, no, I'm
Black Widow, number 4. Guys, I honestly forgot to even include this in my list, but Fast 9.
oh wow,
Fast 9 is number 5.
how do you forget that?
How could you?
Eternals is number 6. No Time to Die, which I think's the Bond movie.
Oh, I didn't even.
Quiet Place 2.
But these are all grossing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, Afterlife, and Free Guy are the top 10. Like Godzilla versus Kong, Dune. I've forgotten about all this stuff.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah, Mortal Kombat, Space Jam.
Oh, right.
The Suicide Squad. Forgot about so much stuff.
Yeah. So it's hard to think like 360.
Oh, Paw Patrol the movie. The Demon Slayer movie. It's actually number 34, believe it or not.
Yeah, I haven't seen like
Snake Eyes. Geez, guys, I forgot about all this stuff.
Oh, man. I didn't even.
Wonder Woman
like,
84.
I forgot Snake Eyes came out. You loved Wonder Woman.
I did, but that came out last year.
Did it?
Yeah, it came out
this year.
It came out Christmas.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, just kind of give everybody a feel of where the world was with that.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these movies, man, and I don't even recognize them. Pig.
I still need to watch that shit.
The Power of the Dog. Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up is on Netflix.
I've heard
that's on
good
Netflix
too.
right
It's got like an all-star cast. Like
The Last Duel. I don't know.
Yeah, so The Last Duel is I think it's a Ridley Scott medieval piece. It's got a great cast.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I want to watch it. It's streaming.
The Harder They Fall, which is the cowboy movie that we talked about here. Tick Tick Boom. Spencer. It's about the fall of Moss Toys, I think.
Oh, I thought it was about Spencer. I thought it was about the store that secretly sells the dildos at the mall.
yeah, it's like where people go to after the soul dies. This is where they go to work.
The Card Counter. Free Guy. The Humans.
So Free Guy has Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yeah. It's a video game character that becomes sentient.
He's like an NPC that comes.
Matrix.
Yeah.
The Green Knight.
This is King Arthur shit.
No Sudden Move, Come On, Bad Trip, Passing, Wrath of Man, Coda, Dune, Encanto, No Time to Die, Red Rocket. I'm not watching that.
I was going to say.
Nobody, The Guilty, The French Dispatch, Old, which I did hear about, but I never saw.
Yes, M. Night Shyamalan
Yeah.
movie, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. A slow year, am I right?
Yeah.
TV, for me, the best TV show that I saw all year was that shit I was talking about, that White Lotus show, where it was about this like hotel in Honolulu or some Hawaiian. You had to like take a boat to get there, and just like this zaniness that took place at this fucking resort, and all these between these three families and everything going awry. It ends up being a fucking catastrophe without a doubt. Unless the only thing I was, because the other one that I really loved recently was The Judge, right? But that was last year.
What was that fucked up one about the marriage that
Yeah,
as Oscar?
so
I figured that's what you would have.
No,
picked.
so that's in my that was close, but I got to give it to White Lotus because I enjoyed it. Like I laughed, I was on the edge of my seat at times. Like it was my favorite show of the year by far.
Mine's The Expanse, hands down for me.
Yeah,
I didn't watch. Well, the only thing I watched show wise is Disney shit.
Hawkeye.
Well, like I liked all of it, but like nothing stood out to be like amazing that I can think of. Like I like most things I watch. I watch all the Disney shit. I watch a bunch of anime, but nothing over the top awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a slow year.
It feels like it, like content.
Not slow year. Like it's like everything is good, but not.
But
great.
at the same time, it's
yeah.
been overwhelming because you hear about this show's on this show, like Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
and I haven't.
It's a lot of good stuff, and like doesn't like it's a shit ton of B's. Doesn't mean there's no fucking A.
Yeah, right. What about book? Did you read any books this year or comics? Mine is this one. I got to get the name of it. Is this Joker book? I'm just gonna walk over here and get the name.
I can't remember like when I did anything. I put down The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. It's about a 30-year-old business book that I listened to. I pulled some good stuff out of it, though.
Yeah, there you go. I remember you talking about it, business-wise, and taking it with you. And
Yep.
mine is this book I just looked at. It's called Joker Killer Smile. And when I talked about it here after I read it, but like what's fascinating about it is that like it's about him warping Harley Quinn, and like when I was reading it, it started fucking with me. Like I started like
Psychologically?
yeah, like because like the way that they do it, it's like it fucks with Harley in terms of what's real and what's not real. And I had to like go back pages and be like, wait, did that happen? Or is he manipulating how this was?
Wow.
You know, like, so it was fucking with me as a reader the same way it was fucking with her, which I'm not sure I've ever had that sort of.
I remember there's been movies that have been like that, but
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I've ever had that in a book form. Yeah, so
because you have to go back and read again. It's like what happened?
Yeah. So
That's interesting.
I had to give it to that one. And I'm not even sure if it's well regarded or not because I don't really know.
I've never heard of it.
But yeah, but like I happened to catch it. I bought a bunch of books recently because I was at Barnes & Noble and they had them all hardcovers 50% off.
Yeah, my brood went and bought a bunch of anime
Hell yeah. Makes sense.
or manga.
But there's no reason to buy it.
Want some manga? Don't you want some manga? So I say to Jane all the
The Mangalorean.
lure. Stop it. And then album of the year for me is Donda. Like
I don't have.
Yeah.
I got to think. I was like, I looked through like the top albums of the year, and I've never even heard of most of these.
But this is, I don't really listen.
Yeah.
Like I'm not up to date with music. I don't know any music. But music, when I go to Baltimore, to the hospital job, I work in Baltimore.
Yes.
We play music.
Yes.
The people that play music, I enjoy everything they play.
No.
I can't really get into the words because I'm working.
Right.
But I like what I hear.
Right,
And
right.
They're all in the early to mid 20s, and it sounds like modern music.
Right.
It sounds like fucking hip hop type deal. So I'm like, I like it.
you know, I like where it's heading these days.
I know when it's Kanye because this always starts a conversation
Yeah.
of how he's an idiot.
But
But then they listen to the music.
yeah, like he anyway, that album and like the more I listen to it, especially like the deluxe and
Massive Deluxe.
yeah. So like it's actually like it's fucked with my drill shit a little bit because like that album is so fine tuned production wise, like it's so everything is mixed like just beautifully. Like I feel like I can hear the plucking of the strings and shit. Like
each individual bullet of the machine gun sound noise is perfectly.
No, on the Kanye record. On the Kanye record.
Okay.
But it's got to a point where like when I listen to some of this drill shit, I could tell it's just done in their homeboy's basement. Then I'm like, oh man, this is a rough listen.
In the buddy booth.
This is
You got that bathtub flow.
this is a rough listen, I Fetty.
Oh goodness gracious!
And it's spelled like it sounds.
I will say musically, I listen. My playlist lists are insane. Even like my family's like, "What the fuck? You just went from Garth Brooks to Lil Jon."
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I like when music playlists are like that.
I will say that Amazon is the streaming service I use, and they have uploaded a lot of stuff in. It says it's in HD now, and it is beautifully sonically crisp. Like the Metallica Black album, for example, is in HD now, and it's like you can.
It's different.
It's just like being in the room with them playing.
My
very
friend
impressive.
back in pharmacy school, like 10 years ago, got me into this lossless shit, and I'm like, I could not be told the difference until I listened to it.
Yeah.
So Apple is doing something similar where it's everything is in this lossless.
Yep. You heard me talk about this before.
Yeah.
I've talked about this on the show.
So it's like uncompressed music, supposedly.
Everything is in
Every
that.
little highest of the notes and the lowest of the notes is fucking there, and it's fucking different.
So everything on Apple Music is that now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Because like it used to be like not every song has a lossless version because it wasn't recorded lossless.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But especially that Donda record.
You had mentioned Game of the Year or your favorite game or whatever.
Oh yeah, I don't think I played anything.
So I did for the first time in years. So
Cyberpunk?
It's Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
By far. That's
More than Cyberpunk. I feel like you spend more time on Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but you know, I think so. Cyberpunk was the first modern video game I've played probably in 10 years. So it was and I enjoyed the hell out of it. But I didn't realize how bad that game is until I played Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes.
Like from a development standpoint. The story's great. I enjoy looking at it, but it's real glitchy.
Yes, extremely good. That's the problem.
And
it's not polished at all.
Miles Morales game I don't know what year that came out, but I mean, that was fucking brilliant too. But the Ghost of Tsushima was just, that game is so fucking great. They're making a movie.
Nice.
I saw the other day.
Maybe nice.
They're gonna make a Magic the Gathering movie, so I'm
Also maybe nice.
Actually, all kidding aside, there's good lore in Magic. It's really
I
good
believe
lore.
it. I believe
The story's good.
There's many good stories in Magic. Just like in 40K, as much as you can shit on it from an outside perspective, the lore, there's real shitty, cliche, dumb fucking lore, but there are some good ones.
Yeah. I agree. So then a little bit of notes, not much, honestly, which was kind of surprising.
Not much that you left intact.
Yeah, true.
As usual.
True.
New you?
New year, new me. So I only put this in here because I'm be curious to watch where it goes for the year. It's called, the note is titled Public Pooh.
Public Pool?
Pooh.
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 Gotcha.
So, Winnie the Pooh and Bambi have entered public domain or are supposed to this month.
Oh man, China's gonna cut that shit right the fuck out.
So it says A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh, Felix Satan's, I don't know, Bambi, A Life in the Woods, enter public domain on New Year's Day, 2022. They go into the history. Copyright laws vary from country to country, but due to the Copyright Term Extension Act of 1998, copyrights on published works in the U.S. now typically expire 95 years after their initial publication. Older laws were based on renewals or on the life of the author plus a given number of years, so there are some notable works since 1926 that were already in public domain, but everything published in 1926 is now public domain as of 2022. And I'm not sure that I would have expected that to actually happen. But it also says...
Well, Disney's not.
But what's the difference between a trademark and a copyright?
I don't know.
Because I think they're trademarked.
Let me call Robert.
Oh, boy.
I thought you'd call Justin. Isn't he?
Oh, that's true. I could try.
I feel like Justin's into.
I thought that was patents, though.
Yeah,
I mean, same, closer than like ambulance chasers, right?
I'm gonna call him right now. Let's see.
Which one?
Robert.
Okay.
And then I'll call Justin. What? Oh, hate to hear it. Why is that not working? I wasn't plugged in.
It's not working. It's not fun.
Let's see. I'll try to call Justin real quick. I kind of wanted to get his opinion on Ghostbusters recently, but
yeah. Did anyone of you watch it?
No, I have not.
Anyone you plan to watch it?
I do.
I know they showed a trailer on TV that spoiled the surprise.
Oh God, that's the worst.
Now they're trying to get people to watch it.
Oh,
Hello?
Justin.
whoa, yo,
You are live on Nerd Rage.
Nerd Rage.
what up?
What is going on, fellas?
So real quick, two things. I know that patents are more your specialty. But we were looking at this news that Winnie the Pooh and Bambi have entered public domain.
Sure.
But the trademarks are still intact.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Okay, so trademarks. So the public domain comes with copyrights, which copyright laws are, I don't know what they changed to. I think it's 50 years now, which is probably likely to change because Mickey Mouse is going to enter public domain soon, and he's the big reason that copyright laws have changed over and over. So basically what copyrights are is like the actual, like, Happy Birthday to You, the song, is copyright. You can't reproduce it for 50 years without that authorization. Can't be reproduced for 50 years. After 50 years, you can do whatever you want. So Mickey Mouse, after 50 years, someone could make a movie about Mickey Mouse. Disney can't do anything about it to sue them. Trademarks, on the other hand, are like the style of a logo can get a trademark. I'm not sure exactly how long they are valid for because I don't work in trademarks, but that would be specific things like the Coca-Cola font is trademarked. So you can't actually, create a cola called Coca-Cola with the same logo and things like that. That's part of the trademark. I'm less familiar about what the rules and regulations are about trademarks.
Yeah, so I wonder, can you do a Winnie the Pooh and change the font, or is it the actual likeness of the bear?
It might be the name. I don't think the likeness of the bear. It would probably be the name is the trademark.
So the actual name. So the character is public domain, but the name is still protected.
Yeah, like
So
you could be Winnie the Pooh spelled like P-O-O, and no problem there. But
so his name's got to be like Vinny.
Here we
Vinny,
go, guys. Let's start the third
Vinny
party
the
Winnie
Pooh,
the Poohs.
that's right.
Vinny the dude.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Pooh Bear from Jersey.
Hey, yo.
Exactly.
All right, thank you for clearing that up a little bit. And then the other thing is, just while we had you, your thoughts on the Ghostbusters film as a massive Ghostbusters fan.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun film. Did you ever see it, Bobby?
I haven't yet. I haven't yet. No one here has seen it yet.
I want to know. I want to know what you think when you guys see it. But I enjoyed it. I think you have to be a fan of the original movies for the sake of the original movies, and not because someone says this is a classic and you should like the Ghostbusters movies.
Yeah,
the tie-ins. I don't want to spoil anything that anyone doesn't know, but the tie-ins to the original movie are what some of the people kind of criticize, is that like, well, it's too tied into the first movie or too much like the first movie, and I'm like, well, that's kind of an overarching theme of, a lot of Ghostbusters, fiction out there. The comics and stuff all tie into like the same central entity, so like the fact that this is not really a surprise. And I thought it was a fun movie. I don't know if by itself I would say it would, if you showed me this movie today and I never saw the original Ghostbusters, I don't think like 30 years from now you'd be all excited to see them making some follow-up to it. But I think tied into the original Ghostbusters, it did a good job kind of quote unquote passing the torch, and it was a fun movie, and it was fun for a lot of the same reasons that the original to me was fun.
Okay.
Well, how did you feel about the other Ghostbuster movie that came out
with the ladies?
The ladies, I did. So I went into that one with super, super, super low expectations because everyone was like, "Oh, it sucks." And I never saw that one in the theaters. And I saw, I'm like, this wasn't bad. Like, it's not the Ghostbusters I love, but it was a fun, mindless flick. I wouldn't say it was a good one, but it was at least fun to watch. But probably because I went in with so low expectations. That said, this one's drastically better than that.
Okay, gotcha. So is that one not canon anymore? That one's cut out.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, except the ultimate edition of the movies coming out includes the original '80s movies and the Afterlife movie. And what is it? Paul Feig wants to get the ladies put into the Ultimate Collection. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the right fit.
I get it, but I don't get it. It's ultimate that it includes all the Ghostbusters films, but it's not ultimate that it's not like the original Ghostbusters universe ultimate, right? So,
yeah.
I gotcha. All right, Justin. Well, I appreciate your input on both, and we'll catch up sometime, okay?
Happy New Year.
All right, sounds good. Have a good show.
Happy New Year.
You too, guys. See ya.
See, I picked the right guy to call.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
All right, so moving right along, and that does clear that up. The Dark Horse, there's a Dark Horse buyout. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but Dark Horse as a company has been sold to the Embracer Group, which is just some Swedish
cult
That's
thing.
a horrible name.
It's a Swedish video game company. But the reason why I find it interesting is because they talk about like Star Wars media they're going to be releasing, and I'm like, well, I thought Marvel has all that now.
So there's
bits and
something
pieces, though,
there's
right?
something weird there because Dark Horse releases Marvel compendiums of some sort sometimes. So I don't know if
maybe
it's some
something
sort
like
of
that.
like library editions they have the rights to or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not real sure.
Then there was the Batman trailer with Catwoman. Did you watch that?
I did not.
So I watched it.
I don't need to watch it because I'm going to go see it.
Yeah, it looks great. But one thing I got to say now.
Is that in April?
I don't know. Having seen more and more of it and like trying to be like, maybe I'll feel differently as I see more. I don't like the mask. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it from the get-go. Too much face.
So I didn't either. I didn't like it.
Too much face.
I didn't like it at first either. But I was like, you know what? Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe it's for me. The ears are too set back. It's too much head, so to speak. It's like
There's never too much
You've never said that before, have you, Bobby?
I'm telling. I haven't.
too much head, too much face, too little ears.
Yeah,
My goodness.
The ears are like way the fuck back here. Like and like it looks like I don't know. It looks like the mask. It looks daredevil-y to me.
I can see what you mean by that.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Doesn't mean I won't like the movie or anything like that. Doesn't mean I won't like his portrayal.
Doesn't mean he was not gonna buy the toy.
But it doesn't mean that either. But I don't like the
Definitely
way
buying a
he
toy.
looks. I don't like the
He's
way.
definitely buying Hot Toys.
So that might be the one I pass on. Like I might like a SH Fig watch something $60, $80, pick something up, no problem. A $250 big head.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd have to love his character in this movie.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I want to talk about note wise was and then there's this fucking thing from last time we didn't go over it really at all. Was this the Marvel Legends reveals? I was just gonna say, did you see all them? It was a ton.
Oh my God. There's a ton of them.
I'm happy to see the Siren.
I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. They're
I thought you did talk about.
Oh, did we? Okay.
well. Listen, I'll just say this: it's to the point
almost
now.
done.
They're so deep down the well with this that I don't even know who half these people are.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, I'm not going to say I'm a well-read comics fan. I know the main characters for all the Marvel stuff and a lot of the B and C characters, but they're like, I'm like, who the fuck is this person?
Me too. But if you look at it, like how expansive that line, it's really like the
complete collection.
It's really like the next like Star Wars 3 3/4. It's like the only thing you could compare it to.
Yep.
But anyway, I'm excited about the Siren. All that means is I need a Feral.
Right.
And X-Force is done.
Yeah.
The last thing is this Star Wars Eclipse video game trailer that I just asked these gentlemen
Looks like
to watch.
a movie I would watch.
It does look interesting. It's a lot of reused movie footage with different edited shit in it. Like instead of the Naboo fighters, it's these other ships, but it's like the same shot. Those guys in red robes with like the things on their that's leftover footage from Rogue One, from the streets of whatever that town was, because those guys are in it. Those,
okay. I didn't see any Zuvio, though.
No, I know, but can you ever?
Waiting.
You can never get enough.
You can never get enough.
You can never get enough. But like the guys beating on the drums,
They look like Tau.
That was a lot.
They do.
They look exactly like Tau.
They
from
do look
40K.
like Tau.
Why do we need? I mean, the trailer looks great. It looks beautiful. I mean, granted, I watched it on your phone, but why?
Well, you gotta watch it sideways, man. Don't complain.
Exactly. At least he had the rotation turned up. But
I have to explain this every time.
you don't have to explain anything. It's fine. You put ketchup on an $80 steak, so you don't have to explain anything. Why do I need to see these dudes playing drums so much? Why do I need? Is that an important part? Is this a rhythm game?
It's part of the ritual of whoever this guy is getting up at the end.
Me too. It's Star Wars DDR.
No, it's set during the time of the Republic, so it's
High Republic. So it's
High Republic
before the prequels.
Okay,
Like way before it.
But Yoda's still around because he's.
Yoda's been around forever.
For 900 years. When 900 years you reach, look as good you will not. You'll be able to say the same thing about like 70. But yeah, I'm curious.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. At this point, I'm down for whatever Star Wars game they throw at me.
Well, this feels more like the Star Wars that I want over Mandalorian and Boba Fett, and like this feels more about like the world looks interesting again. It looks cinematic because it is because it is.
It's cut like a fucking movie trailer.
Well, and also because they took actual scenes from cinema and re-edited
which
them.
is all computer CGI anyway.
Yes.
So
you can just reskin things very easily.
And
so,
do we have a time frame on this?
Well, there's some ugly scuttlebutt going around that is going to be delayed.
Of course.
Surprise.
Never expect anything to be on time, really. Product and electronic or otherwise nowadays. When was the last time a statue came out on time?
Yeah, that's true.
Never. I've been in the statue game for like fucking 5 years now.
You should hear my daughter. She's like, I ordered it. It's a pre-order. It's supposed to be out in November. And I'm like, oh, child.
Sweet summons.
Yeah, Mason had ordered something. He's like, hey, I ordered this from BBTS and it's supposed to come out in December. I'm like, well, it hadn't come out yet. So, when do you think it'll come out? And you make sure I have the money. I'm like, well, just keep the money.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way to do
it. Can't you pay for it?
I don't think you can. Be BBTS. I don't know if they let you do that.
Okay.
Let me get into these questions and we can head on out of here. This is from Blaster. Said, sup Ragers. Bobby, thanks for doxing me on the internet last week, you fuck. I accidentally said his real God ready.
I questioned you immediately. I'm like, really? Are we in first last name basis now?
Hope you guys are all doing good this week. A belated welcome to Gamez and Casey for finally joining on the pod. Hysterical duo those two were. Unfortunately, I have no questions this time around. Better for you, as I always send you guys a freaking essay, which this is as well. He says, I have created your riff, which I purposely made, so I'll play those here in a minute. By the way, I did not say you could use these for no extra money. I said you could use these without extra worry, since you had more blanks on that Zoom of yours than you thought you did. Of fucking course I wouldn't charge for those, yeah. But I will take that role as your sound engineer if you so wish. There's some voices playing behind the music of Phil's riff, but I've included... So if Maryland Phil is not there this week, please leave Phil's riff. And in case you're not here to the next episode he's on. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. That's probably not going to happen. But I will play them. Here we go.
Can you do anything other than blow bubbles and talk shit? That's great.
Just a forward flex.
Forward flex.
Oh, yeah. Just dick.
Wow.
Flex. So I actually have that. Damn, I feel like he's,
How do you do? How do you do? How do you do?
he has sent some of these before. Get over here. Let's see. Do we do this one?
I'd sure like to fist him.
Yes.
He said to play Phil's riff when Phil's here, but I'm not going to remember to do it. Should I just play it now?
Just play it.
Blaster, I'm sorry. It was like the only way to really enjoy
I
it.
can't remember things.
Robert D said he's got this thing going on with his feet, like a crab. And Lars said, have you tried rolling his foot over?
I can't do that.
Oh, it's too much.
But I remember when he put that.
Robert D said he's got this thing going on with his feet.
Yeah, that's when he took Lars Himalayan salt balls and just took his shoe off, started rubbing them on his foot. Like Phil's a wild dude, man. All right, so this is from Rick F. He said, question for the show. Hello, nerds. First time writer, long time listener. This is a good dude, too, by the way. Wanted to start off by saying, love the show. Helped me get through long road trips and long hours at work. My question is, do you guys have any figures or purchases you regret not getting right away and then had to get them on the secondary market for a huge markup? I got into the third-party Transformers late in the game and then playing catch-up. Yeah, that's probably a bitch for all his fans, toys, figures. Merry Christmas to all of you and Happy New Year's. P.S. Go. Never mind. Anything pop to mind?
Oh man, some of the Mezcos I've gone back and gotten have been pretty pricey. I think I bought a Damn Toys Cold Dog figure recently that was out of print. That is, I think it was $100 retail, and I paid. Somebody was nice to me and sold it to me for $300. I mean, sneakers.
Yeah,
that's front of mind for me right now.
So I'm in a weird place with that stuff because a lot of it hasn't been stuff I've passed on. It's just been stuff I've had to double back and get once I got into something else.
Well, and that's I think that's more what it is for me too.
Because like I haven't really passed on much. My regrets more so are shit I haven't passed on.
Yeah,
and I've been like, fuck, man, I don't want this shit.
I have 2 fucking recycling bins full of shit I don't know what to do with right now.
Really?
Like just fucking old action figures.
Wow.
Doubles I didn't realize. Triple that I didn't know I have.
Wow. Yeah, I have like a SH Figuarts Mandalorian unopened. Like I had it pre-ordered, didn't realize it, forgot.
It's not that one?
Yeah, I think it's that. No, it's the regular one.
Okay. See, I've actually got both of those.
And I panicked, and it's that one. So I that's the one I opened. Brian Brink hit me up and was like, "Hey, they're available," or he had an extra one, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it off your hands." And I paid him for it. I had one anyway. Yeah. Shit like that. Like eBay purchases and shit where I'm like, man, like this ain't right when it comes in. Like it's not what I thought it was. Shit like that. Yeah, that's been mainly my stuff.
I just passed now. Like that's been a couple of like Saint Seiya stuff. So like I paid $350 for one of those guys, but like there's a lot of things I'm technically missing from my collection right now that like I'm just not willing to pay the aftermarket price anymore. There's too much other new shit I would rather spend that money on.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's really hard to swallow, so to speak, of having holes in your collection.
I'll tell you, I think these Kotobukiya, like doubling back on some of them,
that's fucking rough.
They're rough.
Like I'm glad I got into it when I did. I only missed a couple that I had to get back.
Where they don't, because it doesn't feel like they're really well priced. They've creeped up a little bit in recent years, but like for the most part,
the quality has kind of gone up. I mean, it's pretty detailed.
You may be right, and they've gotten bigger.
Yeah,
but like overall, they're pretty well priced, and they're fairly priced. I don't feel like I'm getting a steal of a deal. It's just like this is the right price for this. But $300 is not the right price, and a lot of these motherfuckers fetch $200 to $300, especially like the horror ones.
Yep.
I think the fucking Edward Scissorhands is like $500 to $700.
Oh, I have that. I need to reevaluate the case that Krista has. She has all of them motherfuckers.
That one and the the OG Beetlejuice.
She has all. Yeah, well, I got them all. Of them.
They're like about that. Those
I
are
pre-order
tough.
all of them BPTS immediately.
Yeah, so I pick and choose because I'm not a completionist with them, but like going back and I'm like, man, I want the Jason one and I want like just a few here and there. I'm like, man, like this sucks. Like you know what I mean? Like it sucks. Yeah. Mike Honcho, he said, Yo-Yo Ragers, with the upcoming Obi-Wan series, it has me thinking about his confrontation with Vader in the original Star Wars movie. How cold was it of Obi-Wan to make Vader kill him in front of his son that Vader had no idea was alive? That is some DiCaprio-faced troll right there. I know Obi-Wan came off like Space Jesus and Luke took a note out of his playbook in The Last Jedi, but that was maybe the most passive-aggressive move ever. Well, I'm just enjoying the thought of this before they over-explain the backstory of yet another character dynamic that goes better left alone.
Wow.
Who else is anticipating some plot point that over-explains Obi-Wan rapidly aging leading up to the episode like Dark Side Curse of a Fledgling Death Stick Addiction? Sick balls, Mike Honcho, and then he gave a little meme of Obi-Wan that says the face when what does kill you makes you stronger.
God. He makes a valid point.
He does.
But what else? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I just this constant overturning of the original trilogy stuff to me, it just seems like the stuff that is best overturned is in the prequel era or maybe the sequel era. It just seems like I need a, and I've been saying this for some time, but like it's just that original trilogy era is just like
you have enough of it.
I've got it. Like like there's very few, and not that I'm not excited for this Obi-Wan story because I am,
sure.
But this Obi-Wan story leans a little bit into the prequel era as well, you know. But my concern is like I want to see Luke as a young kid, and I want it to have some sort of meaning. Mm-hmm. It has to have some sort of meaning. It can't just be adventures, and that's my problem, which we'll get into another day because I don't have the fucking energy for it today. That's my problem with Jon Favreau involved in this shit, is I think he's just a guy that enjoys adventures.
Mm-hmm.
And
people do.
And people do. And that's fine. And I'm good with the adventure. I just need it to also mean something. I need it to change how I feel about something or strike me on some emotional level and make me, like, that's what I'm looking for with Star Wars, and that's what I haven't gotten in a long time. But yeah, that's how, anybody got anything else?
I mean, I think you spoke very clearly on that, and I agree with you.
That's why I'm interested in the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Or High Republic.
Yeah, me too.
Because they can't fuck nothing up.
Yeah, you can't.
Because I like the world of Star Wars. I like the universe. I like all the mechanics and factions of it. And it's a long-spanning universe. Not like Dune long, not 10,000 years, not like 40K long, but like still at least 1,000 or 2 years. Why are we focusing on 3 years?
Right.
Love letters to the Matrix. Spoiler alert. Just spoilers for the Matrix again. Just got done watching the new Matrix movie and not sure if I'm a fan or not. I enjoyed it.
I have mixed feelings.
They definitely cut down on filming time with all these reused footage. Could have gone without that part.
Yeah.
Definitely had a slight feeling that they weren't sure if they wanted Trinity or Neo to be the hero of the original trilogy with the wacky Chakowski's recent transition. It makes me wonder if they even knew what they were back during the original filming. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yet I digress. Thought it was a good movie. Definitely not upset. I nodded off a few minutes before the Agent Smith fight. I'd say 3 out of 5 or 6.5 out of 10. Or for Joe, a solid C-.
Yeah.
Not sad I wasted time watching it, but wouldn't do it again.
Yep.
I think we're all on the same page for that.
Spider-Man, that was a 7.5 out of 10, though. But I'll have to see it again to be able to get into that one deeper.
Everybody loves it. Like normies are talking about it at work.
All the Brotherhood found family stuff was hitting me right in the feels. Going to take me a minute to be able to watch it again, but absolutely going to see it again. Keep the sunny side up. Nerds, nerd rage. Ho! Ryan C.
Right on.
So Billings. Billings is a wild dude, man. Billings, you got to grow a mustache to connect that beard, or this shit's going to start seeming creepy. Disney princess fuck list. Let's see 3 to 5 each, time permitting. So I'm going to be honest with you. The guy who did my White Wedding of Joker Harley print that I just recently hung, thanks to Laura, on my birthday, so to speak. I didn't really do much for my birthday. I didn't cover that much for my Nerd Week, but it was low key. Did an extra pod, Bobby Boogie Bob, which is my favorite thing to do in the world, and Laura hung some shit for me because I'm not good at numbers, and the guy Nathan says, I don't know how to say his name. Zerdy. He's from Czech Republic, maybe. I don't know. But he did a, I don't know, sexualized is the right term, but he did a picture of all the Disney princesses in bikinis at the beach in a more realistic, definitely still art, like comic fiction-y, but not as cartoony portrayal of them. And I got to be honest with you, not that I didn't think they were sexy, because I did. And I simultaneously felt a little uncomfortable about looking at them that way. And I don't know why or how or whatever. And I can answer this question, you know?
Because I've definitely watched
but I will
Disney
say,
hentai, for sure.
But I will
That's a
say
big
that
thing.
I found it a bit off-putting to see them that way. Even though another part of me definitely liked seeing them that way.
I mean, even as a child, I would get horny over it because I was, kids watching cartoons, and at that age, watching those, I'm like, yeah, they're hot.
I'm going to see if I can find this print. But
Come on, like Jasmine, what you wearing? So, definitely gonna.
So would she be in your 3 to 5?
I think it's top 3 to 5.
So there it is.
Yeah.
How did you find what?
I typed in Nathan Cesardi, Walt Disney.
Well, see, I didn't know how to spell Nathan's
princesses. So, like, man, see, whenever I answer questions like this, it just becomes apparent about how fucked up I am in the head.
I don't think so, because, like I said, Disney porn is rampant.
So,
I don't even know who all the princesses are. So I can pick from that picture.
So I'm gonna say I'm gonna go off of this picture, and I'm gonna say Pocahontas.
Yeah,
because I think she's sexy.
Not IRL, but in Disney.
Yes. Well, yeah, and I'm looking at these pictures where they're more realistic. Alice in Wonderland.
Yes,
because I think we're gonna.
I forgot that she's
we're gonna get fucked up, and then we're gonna. And my number one is it's Cinderella, and it's because I feel like she's like the perfect, and I'm gonna be tough on her. Her life's not going to be the same, and that makes me a creep, and I understand.
Dang it, Bobby!
But
I'm gonna go with Ariel because I'll see what them gills do.
Them fin?
Yeah.
You want Ariel in fish form?
Give her a mic to sing on.
That's right.
Sleeping Beauty?
Nah, I ain't no Bill Cosby.
Anastasia, is she one of them?
No, well, technically now I guess she is.
Anastasia can get it.
Is the queen from Alien considered a Disney princess now?
We talked about it at the birthday party. I think that birthing tube, you can fuck it.
Wait, but that's not a Disney property.
Fox.
Yeah, it was.
Fox.
Yeah.
God, no.
It's broad strokes, Bobby. No, I'll say. What about lions?
Which one?
Live action or animated?
That too.
Whichever one Beyonce voices. Gosh,
I think I'll accept that.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take any of them.
And,
really.
Yeah.
Not one in particular.
And Mulan just for Joe.
She's like the bottom of my list.
Oh, man. Know. Stop Asian hate.
I fucking Asian all the time. Or half Asian. If I fuck the half Asian twice, does it make me fuck a whole Asian?
Only stack them on top of each other. All right. And then, so this is the name's going to come out. So G.I. Joe Classified is the topic. What's up, Spell Table? Chuck O here, not Chucky O. Just wondering everyone's recent thoughts about the Classified line. The recent release of BBQ and the Alley Viper and Bat seem to be straight up classic sculpts, just in a 6-inch scale. And the other reveals they have showed of late are also in that ballpark. With these changes and the move away from nerd style weapons, is this pretty much what everyone was hoping for when the idea was revealed? The only shame is that I hope they end up revisiting the initial release so we can get proper versions of Scarlet, Duke, etc. Thanks for the time as usual. Love you guys. Tell Chris to talk about wrestling more and keep your decks clean and ready to use at all times.
Decks clean. Oh.
Yeah.
Here's my 2 cents on it. That there's going to be some anniversary at some point in time, and they're going to re-release everything on carded figures with more of a classic
Yeah, but they're
Deco.
He is right though. They are going that route.
They are, and I think so. There was that video game that these designs are based off of.
Oh, yeah.
that I think
Yeah.
they had put a lot of apples
Stock,
in that basket, and it
We knew
fell
that
out.
when we saw it. We're like, this is not good.
yeah.
But I like the updated designs for a lot of. I feel
Yeah.
like
Not yeah. It was
it's
just
the same thing like old school Masterpiece, where it's like
Right.
it doesn't need to be a literal translation. Some of them I think are a little wonky, but like a lot of them, I'm like, man, it feels a little bit more real to me.
It's
like,
the what he brought up. They have Nerf guns. Literally, you could take the designs for some of those guns and like, oh, that's this Nerf gun, just paint it black. Which, hey, in-house property, whatever. I get that.
yeah, cheap development.
But and I think like I'll give an example. That breaker with a bike. I mean, that bike is exactly the bike from my childhood, and the breaker figure it's really getting down to the nuts and bolts of the first wave of guys was all wearing these green suits and had different heads, and that was really it. So
yeah, I think that like also as they start simplifying the molds, they'll be able to reuse them more. I think that they've started doing that a bit.
So this leads me to something, Bobby. I watched your best and worst list, and you were picking on Firefly.
Yeah, I hate that fucking figure, man. I hate that fucking figure. I hate the vest. I hate the vest.
You hate the bomb vest,
and I hate that. Like I feel like after that we started seeing a little bit more of that, where like they could do less sculpt work and more of these like soft plastic things and cover shit up, and then you lose the articulation, but you gain all. It's like, and those first couple waves, for lack of a better term, it's like. They gave you all the sculpt work and all the articulation. And then around the Fireflies, when I started noticing, like, okay, now we're switching gears a bit to get you still the interesting looks, but back down the sculpt work, and we're trading off the articulation to achieve that.
But like that, I was gonna say Voltron, Jesus, Zartan.
Yeah,
that's fucking great.
Yeah, that's a solid figure.
And Major Blood's phenomenal.
I'd have to. It may be. I don't recall it as much. But yeah, no, I'm not saying that every figure since then have been shit.
No, I'm not. I'm just
saying it's like it's like that like star athlete that gets drafted out of high school and just seems like unstoppable, and then the second year you start to see this one thing they don't do perfectly well, and then it starts becoming more and more apparent that it's an issue.
The more you pay attention, the worse things are always going to be.
Yeah. So let's see what else. Last one. Oh no, we have one extra bonus one. Hey Rangers, wishing you Happy New Year and hope you and your families had a great holiday. I was watching some of Bobby's older videos and saw he was displaying 3 3/4 inch figures in very unique ways. That really makes me want to make dioramas for my new age figures. DTOF gang, am I right? And then he gave like the bozo face, like the Anyway, my question for the spell table is what goes into planning your dioramas from start to finish? Also, what is a dream diorama that you want to make, but some factor is preventing you from doing so to speak? Keep up the good work, Brandon C.
I should have a dream diorama I want, but I'm not into diorama making. I don't have the time or patience to it. But I want a diorama for all my Final Fantasy VII Play Art Sky. I want either the Shinra building lobby or like the industrial pipeworks from Advent Children. It would be amazing.
Oh, I wish there was a way to do that.
Bro, I'm not into doing work, and then I wouldn't expect you to do it for under 1,000, and I
Yeah, I hear you.
So I can buy more figures with $1,000.
I don't know, Bobby. What's your dream diorama project? Or
So
something you haven't tackled.
But I'll tell you, like,
I think your dream diorama project is me to make the Simpsons diorama.
That's in my top.
That you put upside down on your
Upside down on
ceiling.
the ceiling.
To go with the upside down Christmas
Crazy.
tree, bro.
Dude, he's
Come on.
podding right now.
He's podding.
So I'll tell you, if I had to pick one right now, just based on what I have, I would love to do a graveyard for my horror figures with the tombstones in different sizes and heights, so that they would be a little deeper, so they could all stand on them and use them as kind of like risers. But the reason why I'm reluctant to do it is because I feel like if I do one,
You're gonna have to do all of them.
I gotta do all of
You
them.
can't have a Billy with one goddamn diorama in it.
Right.
No.
And then once you have one whole Billy shelf,
And you can see,
you can't just not leave the rest of them.
so if we're going to have a moment of transparency, the shelf that I have some Disney stuff on, there's blue sky walls.
Yes, I see that.
So
I noticed it earlier.
So I ripped those out of the oil rig diorama that I got rid of for my Transformer display. And I just had it sitting in my workroom, and I was like, let me just see what it looks like, because I'm thinking about that fucking graveyard, and like I'm like, let me just see what it looks like.
But then you're gonna have to like do all of that corner, at least everything behind
the
detolfs, except for maybe the corner units with like the 300 stuff on it.
And then the problem becomes, do I light it?
Right.
You know, and then it just starts spiraling out of control.
I wouldn't light it.
Yeah, so like that's why I haven't done anything over there, because I just don't know yet.
It's going to be another endeavor of years project.
In terms of my thought process, which is probably drastically different from yours, mine is all about it's a couple things. One is locations. Like, to me, locations are almost like a character. So I want the location represented in the same way I want the character represented. Like some of the Star Wars shelves in particular. Like, I have a fucking Yoda and a Spirit Obi-Wan and a Luke that I'm like...
Spirit Obi-Wan with his fucking sparkly dress?
Yeah, with his She-Ra outfit on.
Yeah.
And was it you that called out the She-Ra robes on?
Yeah.
And then the and a R2. It's 4 figures. But I don't... Under normal circumstances, I would just put them maybe over here somewhere as a little like pocket. Look, remember the Dagobah? But I don't feel like I had the Dagobah character in my Star Wars display.
I got you.
So I'm like, man, I kind of want... So like, location is an important thing. Sometimes it's just having a different... Like, taking on something different. Like, I've never done city streets or anything, so it was important for me to do that for like my Marvel Legends stuff, just to say like I did it and I tried it and this is my take on it. And then the third thing for me, which is more important perhaps with certain collections, like my 80s stuff, because I like the Cobra, like the G.I. Joe and the Turtles and all that, because I don't have a ton of space to display them, so I got to make sure I can get everything in there. And then the Transformer stuff is logistics. So a lot of that, if for me at the beginning planning stages, is just about how can I show off the most figures in here without it seeming ridiculous and overcrowded, and at the same time connect it to the world somehow. And those are probably the factors that go in. But I'll tell you, if you're doing dioramas on shelves like I have done, I've learned something very important. Whatever your bottom shelf is, if you're planning on doing them all the way down, doesn't matter what it is, but make sure it's bright.
Yeah.
And if
that's a good call.
If it's bright, you have if for some reason it gives it gravity and interest. If it's dark, it just gets lost.
Yeah. As on the bottom, you're not going to bend over and look at it.
Yep.
Chris?
I mean,
shipping fees.
Well, there's a lot that goes. Obviously, I look at it from a business standpoint more than anything at this point, and it's
which you should.
Yeah. So it's does this fit with what we've made already, or do I want to add on to an existing collection that we have, or is this something like I've got a project in mind that it's something I did as a one-off a couple years ago that people have asked me about repetitively. So I'm trying to design that for mass market production. So, and then like how big of a box is this going to take? How many times is my wife going to cuss me for making this, this tall instead of this? And
like one inch short, it would have been fit in a box kind of thing.
I mean, there's some silly things like we did those half pipe brick tunnel things, and it was a logistical nightmare for shipping.
Yeah,
and painting. And that's what the reasons we're not offering them anymore.
Yeah,
it was just a real pain in the ass.
I mean, it makes sense.
It's not worthwhile.
Yep.
And then our last question is one that kind of slipped through the cracks, and it's because it's from InstaSam, and he sent it via Facebook, and that's how I got lost. So if you want to send us questions, the best bet, of course, we'll make
nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com. Of course, we'll make exceptions, especially for people that we love, like Sam. But like I fuck with Sam heavy, and this was December 17th. So
wow.
Yep. So he said, show question. I was thinking about the omission of Ula from the Rancor, and many attributing it to her slave depiction. I would argue the criticism should shift from the depiction of the slave to the depiction of the slaver. If the slaver, in this case Jabba, was portrayed as heroic, principled, and wise, then I would agree that it would be problematic. The slaver in fiction is always portrayed as villainous, as they should be. Mm-hmm. Fiction reflects reality back to us. Slavery has been a human condition as long as there have been humans, and continues to this day. Yep. African nickel and diamond mines, some other place I can't pronounce, in camps in China, Uyghur, you may know, Joe. I'm not sure.
Why are you looking at me?
Uighur.
I'm not Uruguay.
I'm not smart. Indian brick factories, etc. As long as the slaver is portrayed as evil, the fiction has done it right. Would love to hear your thoughts. I mean, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. But the problem is that like, just like some of these conversations that the three of us have when the mics are off, when we dabble into more dangerous topics, the more we talk and the more like we all tend to agree that like it's just so much nuance and gray into anything that's controversial, and rarely is anything black and white or crystal clear right and wrong or good and evil. It's usually like most things are justifiable from certain points of view. The problem with this stuff is that like when the pendulum swings too far in any one direction, and you start attributing every element of it to the worst possible framing of it, and throwing it all away. When like nobody wants to talk about this princess who was orphaned and abandoned and left on a fucking planet and taken in by other people and raised to be royalty when she really wasn't, to come up and end up being captured to try to free a guy that she may in fact love, just to rebel against the most vile gangster in the universe and choke him out with her own chains. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to talk about that. Right, we just want to say it's a slave and therefore it's bad and get rid of her and it's sexy. So blah.
Right.
Nuance.
Right.
That's it. But I agree with you. I agree with Sam 100%. And we had to welcome someone new to the Nerve Rage team. So Ricky, if you guys have been following our socials, has been making these little videos and stuff to kind of promote the shows week by week. I told him, I was like, look, just try it for a couple of weeks because this is a lot of fucking work. You got to listen to the show. You got to cut the audio. You got to make a little slideshow.
Everything is not easy.
Yeah, I was like, just try it.
Yes.
I was like, just try it for a couple of weeks, dude, and then we'll talk at the beginning of the year. He was committed to it. He's been committed to it. So I talked to him and I was like, look, are you sure? Because it's a lot of work and very little pay. Like none.
None.
Except a blanket at Christmas.
Blanket at Christmas.
But which he missed out on.
Well, yeah, he hasn't earned it yet. You got to do it. It's 1 month.
1 year. It's in probation period.
That's right.
But I want to welcome him and thank him for his work. Also, thanks to Raul on Instagram and Dante on Facebook and Phil on Twitter in our notes. Shout out to the rest of the Cool Table. If you listen to this and have or don't have a podcast, as far as I'm concerned, you're part of the Cool Table too. And with that,
Flappy labia.
Taste. T-Tank.
tight dick player.